Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is good, Philly Take Nation? You know what time it is, man. It is June the 23rd, 2026. And we are just a couple hours away from finding out who the new 76ers player will be. But on top of that, it is a night where we get to celebrate young players embarking on that next journey, on that new step in their career. A very talented class, a lot of interesting storylines tonight. So who's going to win the draft tonight here on night one? Who is going to get the steal of the draft? Who will get the biggest bust of the draft? We're going to try to predict all of it. We'll live react as we always do. We'll break it down right here on Philly Take with RB. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is, man. It is the NBA Draft 2026 live watch party here on Philly Take with RB. Live analysis of every pick, and we'll break it all down as we go on here. Welcome on in. Happy Tuesday night. Usually it's a Wednesday and a Thursday. This year it's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Well, we're here, man. Next couple of weeks going to be very interesting. Tonight we will finally get an ideal sense of the direction of the 76ers based on what they do, based on who they select. And we got a lot more to discuss with that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. I need you guys to get active in the comments. I need you to get active in the chat. As you all know, what makes this show very fun is the engagement, the interaction part of it, because you can go watch the draft stream on ESPN. You can go watch it on wherever else it's being broadcast. But if you want the live interaction part, if you want us to break it down and read your comments, well, get active in the comments, man. Drop those emojis. It's going to be a fun night here on Philly Take with RB. Once again, 2026 NBA Draft, a live watch party show brought to you by Kalshi. Shout out to Kalshi. Use our code PhillyTake, get $10 when you trade 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull up a couple things here. I want to get into this, man. We did a live show last night, and I talked about my overall final thoughts on the 76ers draft. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Just want to make sure that I have all my stuff up here. I got some notes. I got some draft board stuff to go over here. We got about 15 minutes until the draft begins. But make sure you guys like the show. Subscribe to the channel. One-man production here. We are bringing you the content every single day. It's funny. Yesterday we did a live show. We were talking Sixers draft stuff, but we were also anticipating the Giannis trade. And I was hoping that by going live last night, we would be able to live react to it. However, the trade ended up happening around midnight. I did do a live reaction short to it, put it out on all the socials. That's why I always say follow us everywhere at Philly Take with RB to go check out my live reaction to that. We also had another trade last night, which we'll get to. And man, it's just been absolute whirlwind and absolute chaos here in the last 24 hours. And this is why I love the NBA. This is why I love covering the NBA. This is why I love talking about basketball. This whole league is like a soap opera, man. I mean, there's just so much that happens. And around this time of year, you know, especially with the Sixers only having one draft pick, you're thinking to yourself, it's not going to be that exciting. But there's just so much news to talk about. And I've kind of branched out to some other NBA stuff lately. And it's been a lot of fun, man. So anyway, let me just finish pulling up a couple things here, and then we'll be ready to go. How are we feeling in the chat, man? I want you guys and girls to drop your favorite draft prospects in the chat. I want you to drop your thoughts on what you think the Sixers are going to do. Will they trade up? Will they trade back? Will they stay at 22? Will they get another draft pick? As of right now, I don't anticipate on being live tomorrow night unless the Sixers have another draft pick. We'll talk about that later, but got some things to do later this week, heading out of the country for a bit, and a lot of exciting things on the way before free agency. So if the Sixers do have a draft pick tomorrow night, we will stream and we will go over that, but as of right now, they only have one draft pick, which is number 22 tonight. And as you see here on the screen, my Sixers big board for the 22nd pick, which has pretty much stayed the same. And we'll talk about some trade-up candidates as well. Now, listen, man, I don't want to get off on a tangent here to start this, but I want to make something very clear, right? I cover the 76ers, the Eagles, the NBA, the NFL. Like, I watch all these sports. I'm tapped in. I live this. I breathe this, all of it, I am not an NBA draft expert, When I come around to the draft, first I look at what the Sixers have, right? I look at what their pick is, a lot of the guys who are projected to go in that range, and I watch tape, and I listen to expert analysis, and I break some of these guys down. By no means am I saying that I am a draft high-level expert and analyst. I much more pay attention to the NBA and the NFL. But like I said, I've researched all of these guys. I've researched more that are not on my board. However, I have not gotten to the top 100 players. I've spent the last month and a half covering the NBA playoffs. I've done a lot of draft stuff, but not every single player in this draft. So last night there were people in the chat like, well, why don't you have my favorite prospect at number 29? Listen, man, like I said, even if there are not certain players on my list, does not mean I have not researched them or looked into them. I just look at the draft experts and the analysts, and I do a little bit of my own research, and I formulate an opinion off that. But more importantly, I look at what the 76ers need, and I look at what these teams need, because the reality is at the 22nd pick, you're not going to get a day one star unless you just hit on a once in a blue moon type of player. Like, it is very luck based. It is. And I'm not going to bring up Jared McCain anymore tonight. I promise this will be the only time. But when you had a proven player, a guy that could at least be a solid role player off the bench and maybe a starter one day and maybe even a star, who knows, and you traded him and you got the 22nd pick, well, now you have to hope and pray that you can draft a guy that can be a solid role player. That is what we are hoping for tonight. I can't really look at a lot of players on the draft board, on my big board, even outside of my big board, and be frustrated at a pick. The only way I think I'll really be frustrated at a pick tonight is if the Sixers do one of three things. One, if they try to draft a player that is not athletic. Two, if they try to draft a guard that is 6'3" or under. Or if they draft a guy with absolutely no jump shot at all. Now, let's make a clear distinction here, because a lot of people were coming at me for some reason in the comments. They're like, you doubted VJ Edgecombe's three-point shooting last year. Wrong. I said that VJ Edgecombe had to develop his jump shot. There is a clear distinction. There's a clear difference between having to develop your jump shot that you already have and being an adequate three-point shooter and having no jump shot at all. Okay? If you're looking at a power forward in this draft that has taken 3 shots in an entire year, that is a guy that does not have a jump shot. I do not want a player with 0 jump shot. If there's a player that shoots 33%, but at least is willing to take them, I can at least live with that in terms of development. So I want to make that very clear. With that being said, like I mentioned before, I don't really feel like you can go wrong. I just hope that the Sixers get a player that can contribute a little bit now and develop for the future. And I think we will get a good idea tonight in terms of where the Sixers front office is at, what Mike Gansey wants to do, because recent reports have said that there's no really tell on Mike Gansey yet. You know, does he want to be aggressive? Does he want to move off Embiid and PG? Does he want to build around Maxey and VJ? Does he still think that the big four can play together? Does he feel handcuffed by the whole situation? We don't know. So I think what the Sixers do tonight will be a big tell of that. Mike Gansey obviously is just a couple weeks into the job, but he was involved in the draft process in Cleveland. So he does know a thing or two about drafting. And I'm looking over here to the left because all of the players are now being introduced. By the way, shout out to my guy, Yaxel Lendeborg. As you all have known, if you've been tapped into the show, I kind of know him. Obviously, he's not my best friend or anything, but, you know, grew up, I played some hoops with him sometimes, and it's crazy to see him here on the draft stage. You know, when you see someone that you have played with before or, you know, grew up near you and they're here on the draft stage, it's pretty freaking wild, especially given his journey to the NBA. And that is a name we actually will talk about a little later on tonight. My plan for this show, per usual, is we will predict who's going to get drafted at each pick before it happens, and then we'll react to each pick. But obviously the Sixers in mind with the biggest selection tonight at 22. But anyway, who do you think the Sixers should pick tonight? Who do you think they should get? Listen, if they could trade up and get my guy Yax, man, I think it'd be an awesome fit. Now, Yaxel is going to be 24 years old. That's the only knock on him. He was a late bloomer, but from a positional standpoint, with everything he does, I feel like he would be a perfect fit prototype-wise. But we will see. I don't think the Sixers are going to trade up or back. I'll start off with that. I do not think they're going to move because they would have to attach draft capital. Could they trade for another vet? Couple names that have been out there on the trade block as of today are Jaylen Brown, after the Celtics missed out on Giannis last night. Who knows if they can repair that relationship. And the other name that's been out on the block today that I've heard is Trey Murphy. Apparently, the Sixers had a little bit of interest in Herb Jones, but the Pelicans are saying that they want 2 first-round picks for Herb Jones. Yeah, you can miss me with that, bro. 2 first-round picks for a solid role player at best? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Pelicans are in an interesting spot. You know, they don't have a pick. They got fleeced by Atlanta last year. I don't know. I just think, I do think this is going to be a very interesting draft night, even though the Sixers are at 22 and we won't get to them for a couple hours. To me, the draft starts at number 5. I will tell you exactly how the top 4 is going to go. Matter of fact, let me pull up my draft board here. Let's see. Here we go. Number 4, right? Wizards, Jazz, Grizzlies, and Chicago Bulls. Those teams are penciled in. I don't care what anybody says. If I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. But it's going to be AJ Dybantsa, number 1, Darryn Peterson, number 2, Cam Boozer, number 3, and Caleb Wilson at number 4. Those are going to be the top 4 players. I don't see any way that changes. I think you can pencil those in. However, when we get to number 5, the Clippers have that pick because of the Zubac trade. And I think that from 5 to 10 is going to be the most interesting part of this night. Because I could see the Kings jumping up to number 5. I could see the Nets trading back. I could even see the Hawks trying to trade up. I could see OKC trying to trade up. OKC holds number 12 and number 17. Charlotte holds number 14 and number 18. I could see a lot of movement in that mid area. And keep in mind, tonight is only round 1 of the draft, so round 2 will be tomorrow night. I honestly would not be mad if the Sixers jumped either back into the first round tonight or acquired a second round pick, because I do think there's a lot of depth in this draft from my own analysis. But again, I'm just formulating my own opinion, and that's really all we do. Despite what anybody says, what any expert or any draft analyst says, go back to every mock draft in the history of eternity, and guess what? There is no mock draft that has ever predicted every draft pick correctly. You know why? Because it's all a guess and it's all a gamble, and you go based off of the information that you have. And that's all you can do. And that's all the 76ers can do. And that's all that these teams can do. So anyway, as I mentioned last night, and again, drop your thoughts in the chat. Who do you want to see the Sixers select? I like Chris Cenac Jr. I like Zuby Ejiofor, Isaiah Evans, Dalen Swain, Joshua Jefferson, Koa Peat. And for a few trade-up candidates, I like Yax, Hannes Steinbach, and Cameron Carr. Before you guys go crazy in the chat, like, oh, why is X player not on this list? There are others that I would have included on here. I just either do not think they're realistic, or I don't think that the Sixers would actually try to trade up and get them. I think Yaxel would be like the prize possession trade up. Like if the Sixers really wanted to make a huge splash, and there are reports that Yax could fall into the 14-15 range, I don't think it's going to happen. It would be an outside the box type of move. But if Yaxel was to fall down to 14 or 15, and the Sixers wanted to pay a hefty price, and they really viewed Yax as the guy, I mean, that, you know, they could do that. Same thing with Steinbach. I think he'll go in like the 15-17 range, but I would really like to have him 6'10", solid rebounder, you know, working on his interior game. But again, it all depends on what the Sixers need, right? Are they banking on getting a center in this draft? Are they banking on getting a forward? My gut tells me that they're going to draft a forward tonight. I wouldn't mind either one. I think as a GM, you have to play the board as best available when it comes to you, right? We don't know what's going to happen in the 5 picks before the Sixers. It could completely change their plan. They may get to 22 and say, hey, we have a guy we like, but we know he's not going to get picked until 27. So we're going to now trade back because all the other guys we wanted got taken, and we're going to get more picks. You know, we just don't know. We really don't know. So that's where I'm at. But let me know in the chat, who do you guys think the Sixers should get tonight? We'll get to a couple other trades and stuff here in a minute. First off, shout out to the channel members in the chat. Definitely drop those emojis in here tonight. We got Busy B in the chat, Don Boyle, Beer Battered, Gummy Shark in the chat. What else we got up in here, man? Where's all my channel members at? Shout out to the people that stick around for the entire offseason, man. All the coverage. We're dropping videos multiple times a week. We're dropping shorts, bunch of stuff, man. If you guys have any hot takes about the draft tonight as well, make sure you drop those in the chat as well. Let's see. Crowley, what's going on? Says we need a center or a power forward. Beer Batter Gummy Shark says Yaxel bet on himself going back. More money and growth. Exactly. He did. He did. Did the Sixers work out Yaxel? No, I don't think they did. I think he's not in their range, to be honest. Cenac feels like a perfect fit, says Randy. Legendary says Evans gives me a bit of Jared McCain vibes. I really like Isaiah Evans. I feel like he's a sleeper in this draft. My biggest fear is that the Sixers don't get Isaiah Evans and he falls to either the Celtics or the Knicks or the Cavaliers or a team like that. I could definitely see Isaiah Evans being one of those guys that just kind of haunts the 76ers. You know, he just, every time he plays them, he just 5 threes or something like that. I really like Isaiah Evans. I think he's one of the purest shooters in this class. And I like that he has an established jump shot. That's what I really like. You look at the 76ers, they need shooting, they need rebounding, they need size, athleticism. They need a lot, to be honest. They need availability. They need a guy that can actually stay healthy and play games and can contribute again, both now and in the future. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that Joel Embiid and Paul George are actually going to play, I don't know, like 40 games this upcoming year? Like, can we actually buy back in on the Embiid, Paul George thing? What do you guys think, man? It's just hard for me to think that at this point, you know? But I understand where Ganzi's at, and he's handcuffed right now. And he's got Embiid for 3 years. He's got PG for 2. So I don't know what he can really do other than try to get a player that can impact winning. Let's see. Anything else here in the chat? D, what's going on, man? Shout out Fire Take Goat D in the chat. Paul George Glazer in the chat. What's going on? George Dixon in the chat. Kristen, what's up? Avery, what's going on? Mong, what's going on? Chris Cenac is the best choice, or Jaden Quaintance or Evans. I think AJ's going number 1. Yeah, he is. AJ Dybantsa is going number 1. There's no doubt about it. There's no question at all. Any interest in trading up for Adama Mara? I do think Mara is going to be a really good player. There's no way I see the Sixers trading that far up to get Mara. I think Mara is actually going to go in the top 10. I actually have a bold take about Adama Mara. Everybody has had him mocked to either the Warriors at 11 or OKC at 12. I think either the Hawks or the Mavericks are going to take Adama Mara. I think he's going to go higher than people expect, kind of like Zach Edey a couple years ago. I just think Mara is one of the best shot blockers I've seen in recent memory. He's still pretty young. He just fits the mold perfectly for what these teams are trying to do. I could see him going as high as 8, to be honest. But everybody's kind of talking about this logjam of guards and everything going on there. So, I mean, Mara could be the first big taken off the board, honestly. We'll see. Here's Adam Silver coming out to the podium. And let's get it going, man. Guys, 200 people in here. Make sure you guys like the stream right now. That way we can push this out to more viewers. I'm RB. This is Philly Take with RB. And we do this pretty much every single day. We cover these teams. We break it down, trying to build this community. And let's get it going, man. Sixers are looking to add a player tonight. A lot of young dreams are made tonight. And this is the NBA Draft 2026 Watch Party live show. We will break down every pick. We will go through it. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. What is Adam Silver saying? I can't hear what he's saying. I shouldn't have worn headphones in this, but I think Adam Silver's talking about Jalen Brunson for some reason. I don't know what he's doing, man. We just want to hear the picks, man. We want to hear the draft picks. All right, Wizards are on the clock. Each team has 5 minutes to make a selection instead of 10, which I like. Guys, one quick thing too. I will not be looking at the chat too much, especially during the picks, because I don't want to be spoiled, and I know somebody's going to ruin it for the rest. So please do not spoil in the chat. And yeah, man, we will constantly get back to the chat when we can between picks, but definitely don't want to be spoiled. I'm sure some of you will find out who the picks are before. I don't want to look at Twitter either because Shams usually spoils the picks. So we'll see what happens, man. But let's have a good draft tonight. Let's see what happens, man. And let's break it down. Let's break it down. How are we feeling, chat? Let's see. Busy B, what's up? Shout out Busy, says a year goes by so quick. We were just here watching VJ get selected. That is true. That is true. Last year was probably the most like outlier draft season that we've had, at least with this channel, because we did so much draft work last year because the Sixers had the 3rd overall pick. You know, it was a franchise changing decision between VJ and Ace and Harper and whoever else. So like we did a lot of draft work last year, but like I said, when you have the 22nd pick, it's kind of just like you have to hope you get a good role player, honestly. But I don't want to look past the importance of the draft, because I think you look at these teams, right, and the gems that they've hit on, you know, the Spurs and OKC. Like, it is important to draft well. It really is. And this is the first impression for the new Sixers front office. AJ Dybantsa smiling. The Wizards are on the clock. Like I said, I don't think the top 4 will have any up in the air for me. I think Dybantsa's going number 1. And I think we all know that. I think he knows that. And he did not work out for any teams. So I think AJ Dybantsa is the clear-cut number 1. And speaking of the Wizards, while we have a minute here, actually I don't have it up, but yeah, I mean, they have Trae Young. They re-signed him. And, you know, they have Anthony Davis. They're going to have AJ Dybantsa, the big 3. You have Alex Sarr. I mean, the Wizards should be able to finally make some noise, but then again, they're the Wizards. Like, they never do anything, you know? They don't do anything. So if the Wizards can't figure it out now, I don't think they ever will, to be quite honest. I don't think they ever will. My dream scenario is Yaxel slipping to 17 and the Sixers move up to get him. That would be amazing. That would be freaking awesome, man. We'll see. Mark, what's going on? Mr. Dino channel member, what's up, Mr. Dino? Good to see you, man. JS, what's going on? What's good? Yeah, OKC holds 2 picks, which is crazy. 12 and 17. One of them is the Sixers pick from that trade. But yeah, the Wizards, it says the pick is in, so I would assume it's going to be AJ Dybantsa. I believe we all know that. We got 220 people in here, guys. Make sure you like the show, man. Like the show. That helps us push it through the algo. Make sure you follow us everywhere, by the way. We've been putting out a ton of content on IG, TikTok, etc. So make sure you follow us there, Twitter. If you didn't see my reaction to the Giannis trade last night, go check that out. I think it was a huge fleece by the Milwaukee Bucks, if I'm being honest. But yeah, man, I'm going to try not to look at the socials. I'm going to try to really stay locked in because I know everybody's going to be spoiling picks. I hate when people do that. And I just would like to watch the draft. So they are showing Darryn Peterson right now, though. All right, now they're showing Dybantsa. So yeah, I think it's going to be Dybantsa. While they do that, though, last night, Julius Randle traded to the Brooklyn Nets in a salary dump. Chicago got Nick Claxton, which was, in my opinion, a great trade by the Chicago Bulls. They pretty much just pick up a starting caliber center for nothing. Minnesota's in a tricky situation. I think in a couple years, if they don't finally figure it out, Edwards might request a trade. I wouldn't blame them, honestly. And the Brooklyn Nets are just a ridiculous franchise, but I mean, they pick up a starting level forward, even though he's not that good. So, yeah, this is a wild trade. And then shortly after that, Giannis got traded for this entire haul. I'll leave it up here on the screen. But, yeah, man, that's a lot to give up for Giannis. I think this worked out the best case possible for the Sixers and the other Eastern Conference teams, though, because the Celtics pretty much have to trade Jaylen Brown now because they pissed him off. The Miami Heat, I don't think, are going to be some perennial title contender, at least this year. And the Bucks are going full rebuild. So, you pretty much slashed 3 teams, in my opinion. I still think Giannis can play at an MVP level. I think him and Bam are going to be pretty dangerous. They're going to be good. But Pat Riley has a history with some of these stars, and he went a year and a half without paying Jimmy Butler. And Giannis is going to be 33 years old after this coming season, and he's going to want a new contract. So is Pat Riley going to pay Giannis? I mean, it is a fair question. What if he gets hurt? You never know. So, I don't know. A lot of questions to think about, but I think it worked out pretty well for the East. All right, let's see who the Wizards pick. AJ Dybantsa, number 1 off the board. It is official. AJ Dybantsa, forward out of BYU. He is headed to the Washington Wizards. This is the last iteration of the draft where, you know, we have new draft rules coming next year. So the Wizards, for being once again horrendous, get rewarded with AJ Dybantsa. Now they have a pretty good core to build around, you know, Trae Young, AJ Dybantsa, Anthony Davis, Alex Sarr. That was expected. So Dybantsa is off the clock and he is going to the Washington Wizards. Still not updated yet here on ESPN, but the Utah Jazz will be on the clock, and I would expect that they will take Darryn Peterson with the 2nd overall pick. Like I said, I feel like the draft starts on pick number 5 tonight. But yeah, the only thing that I'd say is a little interesting is that, if I'm not mistaken, Carlos Boozer, he works in the Utah Jazz front office. I believe he joined their front office last year. So Carl Boozer, right? Former NBA All-Star, he is a part of the Jazz. The only way I could see them going for Cam Boozer is if, you know, his father comes in and says, yeah, draft my son. You know what I mean? That's the only way I see it happening. But I don't see it happening. I think Darryn Peterson, honestly, I think Darryn Peterson, Cam Boozer, and AJ Dybantsa, I think they all could go number one in like any of these drafts. Like they're all capable of being number one overall players, but this draft is just so stacked. And yeah, I think Boozer goes to Memphis at number 3. What do you guys think though? All right, let's see. Chad, how are we feeling, man? How are we feeling? Do you guys think Darryn Peterson is going at number 2? What do you guys think? TDK says the Heat have no backcourt at all. It is crazy. I mean, we're going to have to see if they re-sign Norman Powell. I think they're going to have to trade somebody else to make that happen. But then again, they're kind of taking the structure of like having a couple big-time stars and then having no depth at all. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. One thing I did find interesting about Dybantsa is that he's not having an agent represent him. He's having his father represent him. So should be curious to see how that plays out. But we'll see, man. We will see. We will see. Beer Batter Gummy Shark says, dang, we missed out on AJ. We did. Good Sixers draft target off the board. AJ Dybantsa, number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft. No questions there. Dang, ESPN can't even update their draft board, man. That's wild. Best available. Next up is Darryn Peterson. I believe he will be the pick at number 2. While we wait for that, there was a report put out earlier today by Shams. Brian Windhorst also called this out as well on ESPN. The Celtics pretty much have to have a hard conversation with Jaylen Brown because of including him in trade talks. Jaylen Brown has been on a Twitch and podcast tour. So the question is, will the Celtics now trade Jaylen Brown elsewhere? Do you guys think they should trade him? Do you think that they should bring him back? What are your thoughts on that? I think they have to trade him. Nowadays in this era, when you piss off one of your stars like that, especially a guy like Jaylen Brown, who went out a few weeks ago or a month ago, whatever it was, and he said, this is the best year of my career. Not the championship year, but this year, where I got to lead my own team, and we collapsed the 3-1 lead in the first round of the 76ers. I mean, shoot, you could say the Sixers ended the current iteration of the Boston Celtics. You could say that. And, yeah, I mean, Jaylen Brown seems like he wants his own team. And it feels like Brad Stevens, who I talked about yesterday, saying he plays chess, not checkers. He was trying to make that big swing. And he offered Jaylen Brown and 2 first-round picks for Giannis, and he just couldn't get it done. I do find it comical that he wouldn't include Hugo Gonzalez, and that was like the deal breaker, but they tried to trade Jaylen Brown, man. I think Jaylen Brown, I think Brad Stevens is going to trade him. I don't know. I just have a feeling, but maybe not. Maybe they'll bring it back and they'll work it out like they have before. I could absolutely see it happening, though. I could see it happening for sure. Rudy says the new CBA rules killed the idea of super teams. Kind of did, but you saw the Knicks go out and make their push, and now the Heat are doing the same thing. So, I mean, they're still trying it. They are. Crawley says, I think they should trade him because things are awkward. I agree. I would agree with that. Now, they probably can make it work if they want to, but it's going to take a lot of repairing that damage. Plus, you were a first-round exit. It's not like you went to the conference finals. Like, you took a step back again. And yeah, Jaylen Brown did not have a go-to move in that series against the Sixers. They could not figure that out. He did not have that move in his bag, in his arsenal to be like, all right, let me take this series into my own hands. He did not have that. So. All right, here we go. Pick is in, number 2. Darryn Peterson, number 2 overall. Should I play the bell effects? Number 2 overall, Darryn Peterson, guard out of Kansas. He will join a very young, talented core in Utah. He will join, well, now they have Jaren Jackson Jr. He'll join him. Lauri Markkanen. He'll join Ace Bailey. Keontae George. I got to put some respect on these young teams like Washington and Utah. You know, instead of having to wait for a free agent to come there, which they never will, the Wizards go out and trade for Trae Young. I do think they overpaid him, but they went out and traded for him and Anthony Davis, and Utah went out and traded for Jaren Jackson Jr. So I got to put some respect on them, you know? And I know some Sixers fans in the chat are probably like, hey, like, why are you not talking a lot about the Sixers? I got to be completely honest, man. As somebody that covers this team all year long, every day, I've been getting a lot of comments, like, especially on, like, Instagram. They're like, dude, why are you doing other NBA shorts and stuff? Like, I'm being honest. Like, what else am I supposed to say about the 76ers right now? What else am I supposed to say, man? I really don't know what else I could say. We have a couple decisions coming up. I think free agency should be interesting. We'll be streaming that. But the 76ers have one draft pick, you know? All these other teams are out making trades, making moves. We heard the Hawks are trying to make more moves. They just got Aaron Wiggins, you know? Wizards, Jazz. Even the Brooklyn Nets made a trade. I just don't know what else I can say about the Sixers right now until we know what Mike Gansey wants them to do. There's nothing else I can say, man. The only question I can ask the chat is, will Quentin Grimes be back and will Kelly Oubre be back? That's it. That's all I know. That's all I know. Peterson's the best player in the draft. He may be. He may be. But I think Dybantsa was the right pick at number 1. Darryn Peterson, number 2. So Carl Boozer did not take his son Cam Boozer, but now the Memphis Grizzlies are up, and I do expect them to take Cam Boozer. I'll be honest, the Grizzlies got a lot of good draft capital in that Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. They're still going to trade John Morant. Grizzlies are rebuilding the right way. They're cooking, I'm not going to lie. Also, what's going on here? They don't have the interviews going on the stage this year. They're in like a separate room, and they have a TV behind with, is that Lisa Salters? Yeah. I don't know. This is pretty odd to me. Like, why are they not having the interviews out on the stage? I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. It's weird. Sixers are stuck with PG and Embiid, a difficult problem to solve. You're right. Exactly right. Let's see. 330 people in the chat. Guys, we need 5 more likes. Come on, guys. Get us to 100, man. Get us to 100. We'll go live a few times throughout the next couple months. We'll obviously be dropping a ton of videos, but we got to wake up the neighbors when we can, man. We streamed the entire playoffs. That was a lot of fun. We'll be live for the free agency, but yeah, man, we got to have some fun tonight, man. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. I'm RB, Philly Take with RB, and follow us everywhere, man. How come they're not doing the stage interviews this year? I don't like that. Kid Lamar says Grizzlies won the draft. Well, the pick is in. I'm assuming it'll be Cam Boozer. Like I said, we kind of know the top 4, and then at 5, it gets very interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happened. After they make this pick, I'll go over and look at the ESPN draft board. Like I said, I'm not trying to get spoiled at all. But yeah. In case you guys are just coming in here, man, drop your favorite 76ers draft prospect in the chat, or you could drop your best sleeper in this draft. Like, you know, talk to me about these draft picks. Who do you guys think people are sleeping on tonight. Who do you want to see the Sixers draft? What's your ideal scenario? If I had to ask you one-on-one, like, what is your ideal outcome tonight? What would you say to me? What do you guys think? We really don't know how this night's going to go. They've been very tight-lipped. There's not been a lot of noise coming out about this draft, just a couple workouts. So I don't know, man. The neighbors are Knicks fans. They probably are. They probably are. By the way, we hit 100, man. Let's go. This pick's coming in here in just a second. Drop the yes, sirs, man. All right, here we go. Adam Silver. It's going to be Cam Boozer. There it is. There it is. Cam Boozer. There's his father, Carl Boozer. Two-time NBA All-Star who works in the Utah front office, but he's there with his son. Forward out of Duke. Very good player. Probably the highest floor in this class. Like, even if Cam Boozer doesn't end up being a really, really good player, he still should be a guy that can make an all-star game. You know, just a double-double type of guy every night. He's a really good player, man. He's just a very high IQ, smart player. I was listening to a pre-draft interview with Cam Boozer, and he said something like, you know, everybody's like talking about my physical ability, but like my mind, my game, my IQ is what separates me. And I don't know, that answer kind of won me over a little bit. I was like, you know, that's a great answer. A lot of guys will come in here talking about, oh, I'm the greatest talent in the world and I can do this. He's like, nah, man, I'm going to outsmart you on the basketball floor. And I think it's a really cool thing. So shout out to Cam Boozer, Men's College Player of the Year. Really good player. 6'8", 253. He will be a day one starter on the Memphis Grizzlies. And definitely shades of his father, that's for sure. All right, man. Let's read a couple comments. Let's pull up our draft board here. We're going to hit the yes sirs in a second. Has ESPN fixed themselves? There we go. There we go. They finally got it updated. So now we got Chicago at number 4. This is one of the most predictable draft picks of the class. Now, again, last night, Nick Claxton got traded to Chicago. I think that was a great move for them. I feel like there's been an ongoing joke the last couple years where the Chicago Bulls have like 15 guards on their team and no forwards, no centers. They got rid of Vucevic, you know, and like they need a big. So they got Claxton, and now they're about to draft Caleb Wilson. So I think the Bulls are on a pretty good trajectory, to be quite honest. Let's see. D Futures, Fire Take Goat. Thank you so much. Member for 50 months. Cam Boozer has the best floor in this draft. I agree. 100%. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. I do like the 5 minutes of draft picks as well instead of 10. Much better. All right, guys. 350 people in here. We got 100 likes. Let's go. Drop the yes, sirs, baby. Fires in the chat. Let's go. 2026 NBA Draft Live. Let's go, man.
He's on fire.
Let's go, man. You know, I do have to say, man, like being able to do this year after year, talk about the draft, react to it, something I've always loved, you know, even since being a young kid. Like, it's a really special thing, man. So shout out to the community. Thank you for being here. And let's have some fun tonight, man. Let's enjoy this. I know it hurts. I know you all have that same kind of pain I do, or at least you Sixers fans do. You have that deep pain in your heart where you're like, man, all of our Eastern Conference rivals are winning championships and we can't even get out of the first round. I know what you feel right now. I know how it feels, but trust me, our time will come, man. Our time will come. I don't know when it's going to be. All right. It might be 20 years from now. Hopefully I'm still covering them by then, but our time will come. But no, we're definitely coping as 76ers Nation, man. We are coping. If you guys have any questions for me, by the way, drop them in the chat. Let's see. A couple ideal projections tonight. Somebody said trade PG and our pick to get Yaxel. Yeah, that's not happening. We need Cenac. Yeah, I like Cenac. I think Cenac and the whole convo around him kind of reminds me of the Ace Bailey one last year. Again, guys, you're not going to get a day one star at 22, but what you want to do is you want to project for a guy that has the developmental potential. Like, you want a guy, in my opinion, looking at all these draft picks over the years, you want a guy that has good measurables, good traits, can translate well to the league, even if they're not polished right now, has the skill set to be great at the next level. That's what I'm looking for. One thing I've put a lot of stock into more than other years, is the attitude, the mentality. You think back to Maxey, you think to VJ, what do those guys have in common? They're the first ones to show up to the gym. They want to work hard. They want to battle. I want guys like that on this team. I'm tired of, I don't want to put it harsh, man, but I'm just tired of the guys that are like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I want warriors, man. I want dogs on this team. I want guys that are going to fight. So anyway, that's what I'm looking for, man. I'm looking for good measurables. I think Cenac can be a good player in a couple years. I think you put him in the right system. You develop him the right way. Put him in a system that surrounds his strengths. I think Cenac can develop into a good player. And he does have the willingness to shoot the basketball, which I do like. I do like that. $5 super chat, Brian Pumper GPT. We got B Pump in the house. What's up, B Pump? Good to see you in here, man. Pray to the NBA gods we don't draft low budget Zion. Koa Peat is the Doodle Bob version. Zion, William Smith, Mike G. Prayer. All right, here's pick number 4 coming up. Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, a forward. We all knew that was happening. Okay, cool. Now the actual draft is getting underway. To respond to your super chat, B Pump, yeah, I got Koa Peat here, number 6 on my list, but I don't really think he's one of those guys, in my opinion. I think he could be a nice role player down the line, but I don't see the star potential. I don't like the unwillingness to shoot the basketball. I think he's been sliding down boards for a reason. I actually think Koa Peat's going to go like near the end of the first round, maybe even into the second at this point. So yeah, he's not as high on my list. But anyway, with that being said, we are now at number 5, and this is where the draft gets very, very interesting. So again, the LA Clippers have been mocked to a lot of different players. We've heard Mikel Brown. We have heard Keaton Wagler out of Illinois here. Darius Acuff could be an option. I don't know who the Clippers are going to go with, but there could be a trade-up scenario here where the Kings leap up to number 5 and surpass the Brooklyn Nets because the Kings really like Darius Acuff, so they could leapfrog the Nets here if they want to trade. But maybe the Clippers stay put. Maybe they go with Keaton Wagler. That feels like the guy that has been talked about a lot here in the last day or two. Mikel Brown was the guy before that. But what I will say is Darius Acuff, in my opinion, as someone who watched pretty much every March Madness game, we just saw an undersized guard in Jalen Brunson win the chip and lead a team. I think Acuff long-term, man, is going to be maybe a top 3 player in this class. He definitely has some defensive liabilities, but Darius Acuff, man, his on-ball scoring and attention to detail and just his IQ as a passer. A lot of people have said he reminds them of Allen Iverson. I don't want to go that far, man, but Darius Acuff is good. Like, look at the numbers he was putting up in the tournament. Look at what he can do as a scorer, as an on-ball facilitator and scorer. Darius Acuff, look, I hope he doesn't rot away in Brooklyn, but he would be a really good pick for them. Acuff is a monster, and I think in another draft class, like let's say last year or the year before, maybe 2 years ago, I think Darius Acuff goes number 1 overall. I think he's that good. Acuff is really, really good, man. So anyway, Yeah, if I'm the Clippers here, I seriously consider Darius Acuff. I think they're going to go with Keaton Wagler here, 6'6", 180 out of Illinois. But what do you guys think, man? I'm going to pull up Wagler's stats here while we're at it. They have him as the second ranked in terms of his position. 6'6", 180 pounds. He averaged 17.9 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Shot almost 40% from 3, 44.5 from the field. Good numbers, man. Certainly some good numbers. Guy that's going to play on and off the ball. I like it. A lot of freshmen in this class, too. Kind of feels like that's typically what we go for nowadays. You know, a lot of freshman players, but yeah, I mean, the Clippers need to hit on this pick, man. But yeah, who do you guys think? Who do you guys think Clippers are going to take here? This is where the draft starts for me. I think Illinois went to the Elite Eight this year. Am I correct there? I forget, but they were deep in the tournament. He was a big part of it. King says Acuff should go 5th overall. Acuff looks like Makai Lemon. He kind of does, man. A lot of people say he looks like Allen Iverson, but all right, man. The pick is in here. They are showing Keaton Wagler. I do like how they have gold basketballs with their names on it. I think that's pretty cool. Key free agents, Benedict Mathurin, John Collins, Bradley Beal. Team needs a playmaker and front court depth. Obviously, they have Darius Garland now. They made that trade. Got some draft picks. Pacers had a 4 to 10 protection. So if it landed 4 to 10, it went to the Clippers, and they just got it at number 4, or excuse me, at number 5. Now they're showing Darius Acuff. I'll be honest, the camera guys this year, they're baiting us a little bit. I like that. They're going back and forth here. Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff. Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff. I wouldn't think any of these players would surprise me. I think the first surprise we're going to get is at number 8. I think the Hawks might go with Adama Mara. If not, I think we could see a trade up from OKC or Golden State. But we will see. We will see. All right, let me go back here. I don't want to spoil myself again. Close that out. All right, here we go. Here we go. LA Clippers. There it is. Keaton Wagler, number 5. Keaton Wagler, as expected. He's been the hottest name here in the last couple of days. I'm going to be honest, though. I feel like, let me know if you agree or disagree. I feel like they could have traded back here. Because the Nets are about to take Darius Acuff at number 6, unless the Kings trade up to get him. I mean, maybe Wagler would have went number 7, but I feel like they could have traded back here. At least a couple spots, maybe. Keaton Wagler, unranked prospect in the ESPN 2025 Top 100. That's pretty dope, man. To go from unranked all the way up to the 5th overall pick. Clippers need guard help, man. Obviously, a lot of things going on there in LA, man. A lot of things going on in that Kawhi situation and all that. They're looking towards the next iteration of their team. But yeah, Keaton Wagler going to the LA Clippers at number 5. If Brooklyn is smart. Now, again, I've been putting out some exclusive content on the other socials, which is why you should follow me over there. But I talked about the Brooklyn Nets last night, and a lot of Brooklyn Nets fans were in the comments coming back at me because I called them a hilarious franchise. I pretty much was roasting the Brooklyn Nets. And I said that the Brooklyn Nets traded for Julius Randle. Like, the Brooklyn Nets, to me, have become a dumping ground, if I'm being honest. They've become like a landfill, pretty much. The Nets had 5 first-round picks last year, They got, what, one starter out of it? Maybe. The Brooklyn Nets have been run so bad, and they cannot figure it out. And it feels like they're never going to figure it out. And pretty much they got Julius Randle on a salary dump. And now it's going to be Julius Randle and Michael Porter Jr. trying to lead the Brooklyn Nets with a bunch of young players. I just don't understand what they're doing. I really don't. And if they really want to figure it out here and get a player that I think can help change the franchise, I think Darius Acuff is the guy. I think Acuff is the guy right now. But, yeah. If they don't take Darius Acuff here, the Nets should be abandoned. They should be relocated, sold to Las Vegas immediately. That's where I'm at. Busy Bee says, I can see the Nets goofing up the pick. I agree. Let's see. Champ's trying to be so quick to spoil, didn't even finish the man's name. Yeah, that's why I'm not looking at the chat, man. That's why I'm not really looking at it that much. I don't want to be spoiled at all. I just want to watch the draft and have fun with it. Do you think the Sixers will trade for Kawhi Leonard? No. No, I don't think that'll happen. I do not think that'll happen. We got Riaz in the chat. Riaz, what's going on, my man? Good to see you in here, man. What's up, Riaz? We got Busy Bee in the house. Elvis in the chat. Who else we got? Selling, what's going on? Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets are in turmoil, man. They are in turmoil. Guys, who do you think is the biggest sleeper in this class? If you had to look at one player in the entire first round here and say that guy is the biggest hidden gem, who do you think it is? Dude, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do not like this like side room interview thing. They got a big screen showing childhood pictures of the players. They have photos. They have framed photos behind the player, and their family is getting interviewed. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like this. I don't. I think they should be on stage, walking up, shaking hands, and getting interviewed. I don't know why this is happening. I don't like it. I really don't. Who do you guys think is the biggest steal in this class? We do have the pick in now. Let's see if Adam Silver comes up here. Let's see. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I might end up taking these headphones off. I want to be able to hear the broadcast as well. All right. Still waiting for Adam Silver to come up here. There's Sean Marks celebrating in the Nets draft headquarters. $5 super chat from Riaz says, RBDC, any chance at all for a trade up for the Michigan guys like Yaxel or Johnson? Would they dangle any second rounders to move up? I could see a potential trade up, but I think to get Yaxel or Morez Johnson, I think you're going to have to move up like 8 slots, and a second rounder is not going to get it done. I think you'd have to give multiple assets to move up that far. I don't see the Sixers personally doing it unless they fall to the 17-18 range, but it would be sick if the Sixers could get one of them. Wow! The Brooklyn Nets pass up on Darius Acuff. And they select Mikel Brown Jr. The Brooklyn Nets did it again, man. The Brooklyn Nets did it again, man. Wow. Wow. Are you serious, bro? Look, I'm not saying Mikel Brown is a bad player, but oh my gosh, man. Bro, the Nets are so dumb. You could have literally baited the Sacramento Kings, who are dying to get Darius Acuff. You could have baited them into moving up to number 6. And you could have gotten another draft pick by moving back. The Brooklyn Nets took Mikel Brown Jr., 6'5", 190 pounds, out of Louisville. Very good player. He's a guard. And I'll pull up his stats here, but man, I feel like passing up on Darius Acuff is going to haunt them, man. I feel like passing up on Acuff, who I think is one of the best players in this draft, is going to hurt, man. Yeah, I don't know about that. Averaged 18.2 points a game, 4.7 assists, 3.3 rebounds, 41% from the field. I think probably the safer player, but I think that Acuff has more star potential, in my personal opinion. Nothing against Mikel Brown Jr. He was a 7th-ranked recruit coming out of high school. Maybe it'll be a slam dunk for the Nets, but you could have at least moved back 1 pick and gotten more draft capital. But, yeah, man. Watch the Kings not even draft Darius Acuff. That'd be crazy if he went to Atlanta. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Poor Acuff has to get drafted by the Kings now. I told y'all they would goof up the picks as busy, but you did say that. You did say that. Acuff said he wanted to go to Sacramento. No, he didn't. He said he would go to any team. He loves to go fishing. Maybe he'll end up on a boat with Ben Simmons. Interesting. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. 360 in the house. Thank you all for listening in, watching in. Make sure you guys like the show, subscribe to the channel. We'll be live for the entire first round tonight. We will break down the Sixers pick when it happens, as it goes. Kings have already made their pick. I feel that it's going to be Darius Acuff. Maybe it'll be Kingston Flemings. They've been very high on him as well. But, yeah, man. Let's see if we can go to, let's see. Can I go to, let's see here. All right, here we go. Let's see. Trying to pull up the draft picks so you guys can see them as they happen. All right, here we go. There we go. So yeah, Mikel Brown Jr. drafted number 6 by the Brooklyn Nets. Look, I think he'll be a good player, but a lot of guards in this draft. I like Acuff's star potential. Just my opinion. All right, let me see if I can unplug this. Hold on, let me see if this will work. We're going to do a little test here in a second. Can you guys still hear me? Let me know in the chat right now. Can you guys still hear me? Drop a 1 if you can hear me in the chat. Because honestly, I want to be able to hear the broadcast, and I can't hear it with the headphones on. So I'd rather just keep my headphones off. Here's the pick. Oh, dang, here we go. Darius Acuff Jr. to the Sacramento Kings. All right. The only thing I want to do now is I want to plug in. Give me a second, guys. I want to plug this in. We're going to see if this works or not. Give me 1 second. All right. We're going to try something here. Live producer RB. You guys are my testers. All right, let's see. See if we can hear this or not. All right. Did you guys just hear that bell effect? Did you guys just hear that? Here, I'll do it again. If so, then we are good, man. I feel now I can actually hear what they're saying about these players. But anyway, Darius Acuff Jr., number 7 to the Sacramento Kings. Home run pick, in my opinion. I think he could be one of the best players in this draft. Last season, he averaged 23.5 points a game, shot 44% from 3. There was a span of games in the tournament where he averaged over 31 points a game. Just a downhill, athletic pick and roll type of guard, sees every part of the court, can knock down shots at a high clip. He just has that on-ball gravity that's hard to find, and he's a special player, man. All right, you guys heard it loud and clear. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. So now it gets interesting at number 8 on the clock. We have the Atlanta Hawks. Now, in my opinion, again, I don't want to get spoiled here, but I think this could be the first surprise of the draft. I think there's a lot of talk about, the Hawks drafting one of these guards like a Kingston Flemings. I actually think we could see a surprise here. I think we could see Adama Mara go off here, or at number 9 to the Mavs, or at number 11 to the Warriors. I could see Adama Mara being the pick here. I would not be shocked at all. I could see Nate Ament being the pick here. If I look at the best available, Braden Berries could be another guy that could go off here. This is where it gets interesting. I mean, you think about the Hawks, right? They go out and they trade for Aaron Wiggins. They re-sign CJ McCollum. The Hawks needed a big. They needed size. They needed they needed another guy in their front court. And yeah, I mean, obviously they're building around Jalen Johnson. You have Dyson Daniels. I think they could use really anything. Best player available. I think Adama Mara would be a home run pick for the Atlanta Hawks right here. ESPN has Kingston Flemings as the best available. Nate Ament could be a fit here, even though I think Nate Ament is very raw as a freshman. 6'10", though, 207 pounds. Who do you guys think is going to be the pick here? No spoilers in the chat, but who do you guys think is going to be the draft pick here at number 8? Keep in mind they got this from New Orleans in the Derek Queen trade last year. Ever since the Hawks got a new front office, their guys have just been cooking, man. So who do you guys think is going to be the draft pick here at number 8? Nate Ament would be a good fit here. Not sure about the defense, though. Mara with the Mavs would not be a surprise now that May is coach Go Blue. Yeah, that would be crazy. I didn't even think about that comparison. I just feel like everybody's been talking about the Thunder moving up to get Adama Mara. We could even see a trade out here by Atlanta. But yeah, I think Mara is probably on the radar of Atlanta, Dallas, maybe even Milwaukee if they trade Miles Turner. But Golden State, OKC, I think they all want Adama Mara. It does say the pick is in here, so I do not think it'll be traded. So let me get off of this thingy here. But yeah, the pick is in here at number 8. If I had to predict, I think it's going to be Mara. I don't know. That's how I feel. What do you guys think? Where are we at on the likes? We're at 173. You guys are crushing it, man. Get us up to 200. We'll wake up the neighbors again. How do you guys feel, man? How do you guys feel? I think the Hawks could go with a point guard here. I think they could go with Mara. If they don't take Mara here, the Mavericks better take him. Otherwise, I feel like the Warriors or the Thunder. I think if Mara and Yaxel are available when the Warriors and the Thunder come up to draft, I think those two are going to go to those teams. I'll tell you right now, man. if Yaxel goes to the Thunder or the Warriors, man, I mean, they're going to get a dangerous player. I mean, that feels like a perfect fit for an OKC for Sam Presti. If Sam Presti stays at 12 and 17 and he gets Yaxel and like Hannes Steinbach, I mean, just crown Sam Presti at that point. Riaz says, hit the like button. Thank you, man. Shout out Busy B in here. Shout out to the mod squad. Once again, guys, we will be covering the rest of the off season. We'll have videos every week. We'll have shorts coming out. We'll be talking other NBA stuff as well. Free agency coming up here in about a week. So we will break all of that down. But yeah, man, a lot of good players in this draft. I'm excited to see what the Sixers do at 22. Yaxel's 25. He's 24. So he'll be 24 this year. But he's still just, he's a late bloomer type of player. He's a late bloomer. I don't know that, you know, if he can be an all-star in the NBA, but he can be a very good connective player, in my opinion. Let's see. Draft the Italian Wemby, says Crane. OKC drafted a center last year. Yeah, but he had a torn ACL, so it's hard to know what they're going to do. But Yaxel could definitely play some of the four for them. I forgot your boys with Yax. Yeah, I wouldn't say we're like close boys, but I mean, like I said, I, you know, grew up around him. I have played with him before a few times. It's crazy to see his trajectory to the NBA, but it's wild, man. You can do anything you put your mind to. All right, here we go. Number 8, Atlanta Hawks. See who they take. Wow. Wow, they took a guard. They took Kingston Flemings. He was mocked to the Kings and the Hawks. Hawks go with a guard. Okay, so Mara is still on the board as we move forward. Definitely a target that I could see the Mavs locking into here. But Adama Mara on the board, and Kingston Flemings is now the 8th overall pick by the Atlanta Hawks. I think it's a solid pick. I was listening to Flemings do an interview earlier. Sounds like a very mature young man. Sounds like he's going to bring a lot to the table on both sides of the ball. For a lot of the people that talk about Chris Cenac, say that he's not any good and all this stuff, well, he played with Kingston Flemings. He played with 2 other guards that are probably going to be drafted in these 2 rounds. So that's why I say that Cenac didn't really have a system designed for him to excel in. I'm not trying to take away all the blame from his deficiencies, but, you know, he played with a lot of these aggressive-minded guards. So, you know, Kingston Flemings being one of them. As a Michigan fan, if Yaxel goes to OKC, I'm going to crash out. Dude, that would be crazy. I feel like the Thunder are just set up so perfectly. I know they had some injuries in the playoffs with Jalen Williams, and they had AJ Mitchell injured. They traded Aaron Wiggins, an end-of-the-bench player, for 2 picks. I feel like the Thunder, man, are going to be right back in it next year. They have some decisions to make financially. They're probably going to get rid of Lou Dort, maybe Hartenstein, but if they land Adama Mara, who cares about Hartenstein, man? Mara can come right in and play the 5 right away. Let's see. Any other comments? What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? 24 is way too old. That's Joel Embiid timeliness. No thanks. I mean, I hear you, man. That's why I don't think the Sixers are going to trade up for Yaxel. But I think teams look at Yaxel as a late bloomer and a guy who's just really getting started, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah. Things are about to get interesting, man. I do think that second contract could be a point of emphasis for sure, you know, if you're drafting a 24-year-old. But honestly, I'd rather just draft a guy that is young, that is going to develop over the next couple years and be a solid player for a long time. That's where I'm at. Sixers should probably flip the pick. Cenac will be gone. I mean, they could. They absolutely could. Like I said earlier, it all comes down to how the board falls to you. You know what I mean? I do think there will be a lot of good players on the board around 22. I think you should be able to get one of your targets, but if not, then we'll see. So now the question is, will the Dallas Mavericks, especially now that they have Dusty May as their new head coach, which I thought was a very surprising hiring, will they take a Michigan Wolverine? Will they take a Adama Mara? I think it makes a perfect amount of sense. You get a big, you play him with Cooper Flag, Kyrie comes back, right? No Anthony Davis anymore. You have a Adama Mara and you have Derek Lively. I think it makes a lot of sense from a lot of different angles for the Dallas Mavericks. Cenac is a young 19-year-old. He'll be turning 20. Development potential is there for sure. And that's why I find it funny. Like I said, there were people DMing me like, dude, stop the Cenac hype. You're crazy. He'll never be an NBA player. I'm like, man, he's 19 years old. Just because the Sixers don't usually play young players. I mean, listen, man, you have to let these dudes develop. You have to let them develop. RB, we should draft Bennett Stirts from Iowa. He's a sniper, should be available tomorrow for us to draft. I don't think Bennett Stirts is going to be available. I think he'll go to probably Detroit right before the Sixers or maybe to Charlotte. But he is a good player. Very smooth, calm, composed. Now they're showing Dusty May. Yeah, I think they're going to pick a Adama Mara here if I had to guess. Nobody's topping the VJ post-picked interview. Yo, that's a fact. That was a legendary interview. By the way, there's Mike Schmitz. I met him a couple years ago at Summer League. He was with the Blazers front office. Then he got in trouble for something. He used to be the best ESPN draft expert analyst. I loved listening to Mike Schmitz break down prospects. I feel like he was the best at it. Now he's in his second front office. The Mavs did an overhaul. They got Mike Schmitz, obviously Masai Ujiri. Now they have Dusty May. I don't know how the college coach translation thing's going to work in the pros. But what I will say is Mavs better hope that they hit this right. Here comes Adam Silver with the 9th overall pick. Here it is. Let's see. Wow. Wow. Shocking. They go with a Michigan player, but it's not a Adama Mara, and it's not Yaxel Lendeborg. It's Morez Johnson. Woo! Bang. Wow. Now that is the first surprise of this draft. That is the big surprise of this draft. I think Morez Johnson Jr. is going to be a great pro. But do I think they made the right choice here? I don't know. I mean, he's a fiery, explosive player. There he is dapping up Yax and Mara. He was second team All Big Ten this year. Doesn't really have much of an offensive game. He's really good at what he does, right? He's an aggressor. He's great on the glass. There he is hugging his college coach, Dusty May. Pretty solid defender. You know, he's going to get you 10 boards a night. He's a gritty interior player, can slash. But is he better long-term than Mara and Yax? I don't know about that. I think that was a little bit too high. I don't know, guys. What do you think, man? I'm going to assume that Dusty May had probably the most input on that draft pick and was the reason that they chose Morez Johnson. 13 points a game last year, 7.3 rebounds. I think that he probably advocated and said, I believe in Johnson more than these other two. Not that he doesn't believe in the other two, but he, you know, they're banking on that long-term offensive development of Johnson. And again, he's just a fiery, explosive player. Going to bring great energy from day one. That's a surprise, though, for me, to be honest. All right, guys, let's get this guy, Mr. Man. Mr. Man, I just want you to know, man, you're an idiot, dude. You got to go. Let's get you out of here, buddy. Have a good night. This dude, Mr. Man, he comments on every live stream and video and just says the dumbest stuff, man. And he just, once again, tops it off with another idiotic comment. So he's got to go. He's got to go. And I will double down on my take that you can do anything. You just got to put hard work and dedication into it. That's just the fact of it. So anyway, don't they have Gafford and Lively? Yeah, they're going to trade Daniel Gafford. Gafford is on the trade block. I think he will be moved. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks go with Morris Johnson Jr. Led Michigan in rebounding last year in double-doubles. Now we have the Milwaukee Bucks on the draft board, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the most interesting thing. This is the most interesting pick right now for me because the Milwaukee Bucks traded Giannis last night. They have 2 picks here in the next 4. They have 10 and 13. If the Bucks really want to start forming that next mold of their identity, they need to nail these draft picks. Now, if we look at the board, all right, first off, let me go and there we go, Morris Johnson. If we look at best available, so they have Nate Ament, Adama Mara, Braden Berries, Yaxel Lendeborg, Hannes Steinbach. I've heard a lot about Kareem Lopez at 13 to Milwaukee, so maybe they go with a forward out of Mexico. By the way, first player who's ever going to be drafted in the first round out of Mexico. Shout out to Kareem Lopez. But I think the Bucks should go a lot of different ways here. I don't know what they should do here. Could they actually take Yax here? I don't think they will. I think if I'm the Bucks, who's up after the Bucks? Golden State and OKC and Miami, or actually Milwaukee. So it's Milwaukee, Golden State, Milwaukee, Golden State, OKC, and then Milwaukee again. I think OKC or Golden State are going to take Mara. I think they got to take Adama Mara right here because I think one of the next 2 teams are going to take him. Or maybe they take Braden Berries. I could see them doing that as well. I could see them taking Berries or Mara here. If not, I think Golden State is going to take Adama Mara at number 11, and I think that will be a great selection. But let's see what happens. Anyway, guys, yeah, Morris Johnson drafted to the Mavericks in the first shock of the night. There's Rich Paul with, who is that? Is that Braden Berries? Yep. Is Braden Berries going to get selected here? They're showing him. Maybe they will, right? Pair of guard with Ryan Rollins over there. Now they're showing Adama Mara. Could he be the pick? I don't know. Rich Paul looked pretty happy right there. All right, yo, for this guy in the chat, man, you got one more warning before you get out of here too, man. I see people just straight up arguing about like the Wizards and stuff. You got one more warning, man, or else you got to go. We're trying to enjoy this draft. You're just clogging up the chat with that stuff. Bucks won the trade, got quite a haul. I agree. Adam Silver getting ready to come out here for the 10th overall pick. Who will it be? Who will it be? Yo, the Bucks are literally sitting here in like green lighting. I don't know. I don't know if they're locked in or if they're like losing their minds. Looks like a bunch of 25-year-old guys just chilling. Braden Berries is the pick at number 10. Milwaukee gets Braden Berries, a guard out of Arizona. I think that's a solid pick. He's a guy that was mocked to go in the top 10 to 12. Let's pull up his stats here. I think that's a pretty good pick. 6'4", 205 pounds listed. Let's see. Braden Berries. 16 points a game last year, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 39% from 3, 49 from the field. 1.5 turnovers a game for Arizona, who made the Final Four. Yeah, I like Braden Berries. I think he's a solid guard, should have a pretty high floor, and I think he's a good pick for the Bucks to move forward with as they start their rebuild. You do have to wonder what it means, you know, him and Tyler Hero, right? Hero, him, Ryan Rollins. Obviously, they have Jaime Jaquez. They have Kasparis Yakchonis. They have all these draft picks. They have Khalil Ware. Yeah, man. Bucks are kind of cooking right now. I'm not going to lie. This is how you start a rebuild. You know what I mean? You got to bite the bullet, and you have to move forward and make some moves. What did Mr. Man say? He's a weird person, man. The guy comments on every one of my videos, whether it's Sixers or Eagles, and he says the same thing every time. He's a very weird like internet troll if I've ever seen one. So anyway, man, this board is falling for Golden State and OKC to end up here with Mara and Yax. That was my prediction a few minutes ago. I think the Warriors are going to take Adama Mara, and I think the Thunder are going to take Yaxel Lendeborg, and I can't believe they're going to let these teams pull this off. Who do you guys think the Golden State Warriors are going to take? Who do you guys think the Warriors take here at 11? By the way, we hit 200 likes. Drop those yes sirs in the chat. Let's go. Let's go.
He's on fire.
Sir. Let's go, man. Let's go. NBA Draft 2026 live coverage. We continue to break it all down. What do we think happens here, man? What do we think is going to happen? We are 12 picks away, or 11 picks away from the 76ers, by the way. This draft's going a lot quicker with the 5-minute selections. I'm actually very happy. I think that this is a much better outcome instead of waiting 10 minutes. I think after the Bucks pick at 13, I think I'm going to go take a quick break to go to the bathroom and get some more water. You guys know if you're an OG of the channel, when RB takes a bathroom break, usually good things happen. Who knows? Maybe a trade will happen. Maybe a blockbuster. Maybe nothing will happen. Why is everybody so guard hungry? It's just a guard-heavy draft, but a lot of the bigs are falling, which is a good thing for the 76ers. I'm going to be honest. Like I said earlier, man, I wouldn't be really against the idea of trading into the first round again or at the beginning of the second. I think some of the players that we've talked about here for the last couple weeks, if I go back to my draft board, like the Isaiah Evans, the Josh Jeffersons, like I think some of these dudes are going to fall maybe to the end of the first, beginning of the second. And I think the 76ers could land 2 really good prospects in this draft if they want to get a second round pick. That's my personal opinion, though. I want the Sixers to grab Zuby Ejiofor. Could be. He's a guy that could fall for sure. Warriors, if you want Joel Embiid, give us the pick. That'd be crazy. Imagine the Warriors taking Joel. Could you imagine Mike Gansey coming in from the top row and just freaking dropping a bombshell on us? You know, a blockbuster trade. That would be nuts. That would be insane. The Warriors are looking for a mobile big, man. They're looking for a guy that can run the dribble handoffs with Curry. Guy that can, you know, play next to Draymond. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this would be a perfect pick for the Warriors. I think Adama Mara has to be the pick here. Or it could be Yaxel, you know? Could be Yax. Key free agents, Draymond Green, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Jimmy Butler coming off a major injury. They do have Quinton Post had an up and down season. But Nate Ament could be a player here for them. Team needs rim protector and a 3-and-D wing. So literally either Nate Ament or Adama Mara. I think Mara's just too good to pass up on. He's 7'2", best shot blocker in college basketball, or at least one of them. National champ. Yaxel's nodding his head. Does that mean... Wait, no, that's Yaxel's mom next to him. Cameraman's about to spoil this pick if you don't take the camera off Yax right now, man. He's nodding his head. Does this mean Yaxel's going to Golden State? Yo, if Yaxel goes to Golden State, man, I'm going to have to try to find a way to contact this dude and ask him about playing with Steph Curry, because that is wild, man. Like seeing a dude that you used to play basketball with on the street court, and then years later he's playing with Steph Curry, potentially, or SGA. Like, that's just wild to me. I really feel like the Thunder and the Warriors are going to land Yaxel and Mara, and it's just going to piss me off how good the board fell for them. All right, here we go. 11th overall pick, Golden State. There it is, man. Yaxel Lendeborg has been selected by the Golden State Warriors. The tears are streaming down his face. Yo, first off, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Funny story, guys. When I played basketball with this guy years ago, it was before he hit a growth spurt. If you had asked me to like think about so many different people and try to predict whether they would make the NBA, there's no way I would have thought he was making the NBA. And years later, he's playing with Steph Curry, man. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's insane, man. The dude grew up minutes away from me, man. Good kid, man. Crazy journey to getting here to the NBA. He talked about a story where he was about to quit basketball. He had one JUCO invite, went out to Arizona, played at a JUCO for a couple years. Then he went to UAB for a couple years. Then he transferred to Michigan, bet on himself, and now he's the 11th pick in the draft. And he's playing with Steph Curry. That is crazy, man. Could he be the Draymond Green replacement? I am surprised, I will say. I am surprised that they went with Yaxel over Mara. I feel like Mara's the better fit for what they need. I feel like Yaxel's the better fit for what the Thunder need, but shout out to him, man. South Jersey legend. South Jersey legend. And the dream is over, guys. The dream of trading up to get Yaxel is over, and it is done. 6'8", 240 pounds Averaged 15 points a game last season, 6.8 boards, 3.2 assists, 52% from the field. Led UAB in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks a couple years ago. And then he transferred to Michigan, made that NIL money, and he became a national champion. If any of you are from South Jersey and you know the town Pennsauken, that's where he's from. Pennsauken High School grad, I think back in like 2021, maybe 2020, 2019. Shout out to him, man. Hope he has a great career. And that's a cool story, guys. Again, more than like actually like someone that I've played ball with before, like just like seeing somebody's journey like that is awesome. Seeing somebody, just like have their dream get achieved like that and have a crazy journey. Like I always root for those types of guys. I always root for the underdogs. So that's awesome, man. He believed in himself when nobody did. That's a fact, man. He really did. He believed in himself. All right, I want to hear this interview, actually. Also, his mom was dealing with breast cancer, so I hope she's doing okay. But that's an awesome story, man, and I'm happy for him. They did a whole segment on him. I think it was back in December. He came back home. He bought his mom a house or a car or something. Pretty cool, man. Guys, I'm sorry. Look, I know it probably sounds a little like, obviously I'm just covering the draft and I'm watching the draft, but it is kind of crazy. It is. I don't know if I'll ever like have this again. You know what I mean? Like I literally used to play ball with this dude and now he's just got drafted to the Golden State Warriors. That's pretty crazy. It's kind of like mind blowing in a way. Wild, man. I think he's going to be a great fit for them though. Even right now, he's bawling his eyes out talking about how much his family meant to him and saved his career. Like, those are the types of dudes that I root for, There was a story about how his mom busted down his bedroom door and pretty much said, like, you better get your blank together, otherwise you're done. And he woke up, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, guys. So yeah, Yaxel Lendeborg to the Golden State Warriors at number 11. Crazy, man. Crazy. So now the OKC Thunder are on the board. We have not had any trades yet, which is pretty crazy. But let me guess. They're going to go with Adama Mara at number 12. Yaxel Lendeborg, number 11. And Adam Silver is about to announce the pick. We just got spoiled anyway. Yeah, man, this is just crazy, bro. This is crazy, man. The Thunder do it again. They do it again, man. How do they keep getting away with this, man? The Thunder are not fair, man. They should not be allowed to draft for the next 10 years. Jeez, man. Oh, my. And they have the 17th pick. And they have 17. They're going to get Steinbach too. Watch. They're going to get Steinbach or Dalen Swain. Oh my God. I'm not mad at them, man. I just think it's crazy how they keep doing this, man. Wow. Guys, that is insane. That is insane, man. That might be the pick of the draft so far. To get Mara without even trading up. This guy is a monster, dude. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sorry, let me read out his stats. 7'3", 260 pounds. Holy smokes. Best shot blocker in college basketball. They need a center. They're probably going to get rid of Hartenstein. And they bring in his replacement. He was a junior, transferred to Michigan, 12 points a game, 7 boards, 2.4 assists. 2.4 assists, 2.6 blocks per game. Shot 67% from the field on 7.5 attempts per game. I mean, he is the perfect fit for what they need. And they still have Thomas Sorber coming back from last year. Great vision on the court. Great interior game. I mean, the rich get richer, man. Rich get richer. Simple as that. Great pick by OKC. Great pick by OKC, man. And of course, they drafted him to stop Wemby. You guys are right. 100%, man. What a pick by OKC. What a pick. RB, what should be the Sixers' biggest priority this offseason? It should be finding a trade partner for PG and draft and sign a backup center. I mean, it sounds nice, but yeah, we don't know what their vision is, man. They either run it back or, you know, they're going to maybe try to blow it up and rebuild and move forward, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see, man. What do you guys think, man? 415 people in the chat. Thank you all for being here right now, man. I appreciate you so much. Adama Mara is the third player that's 7'3" or taller drafted in the first round in the last 10 years. Wemby. And I didn't see who the other one was. Oh, Zach Edey, I think. Maybe. Zach Edey. Man. After this pick, I'm going to take a quick break and come back. Hopefully we get like a blockbuster trade or something. But how do we feel, guys? Can we get some fires in the chat? To read out a couple comments in here. I hope the new GM values draft picks. Cam Carr and Swain falling. Cam Carr, I think, would be a very good pick if he fell down to 22. I do think a couple of the guys we like are going to fall down based on how the board's playing out so far. But yeah, it all really depends on the board and how it falls to you, you know? So we'll see. But OKC and Golden State do exactly what I predicted, and they get Adama Mara and Yaxel Lendeborg. Just two insane fits, man. Two insane value fits. What is Mike Gansey doing? Pick up the phone and start calling. I mean, I think he's just waiting for the board to develop, man. I think the pick will tell us a lot about what the Sixers are trying to do. Thunder got their Wemby matchup. That's true. He could be the Wemby stopper, for sure. He could. He could. We got AG in the chat. We got Class in the chat. Kenneth in the chat. Busy in the chat. Dom in the chat. MVP says, who do we like for the Sixers? Let me know. Give me your thoughts in the chat. Who is your top pick right now for the 76ers? So Miami is technically up, but this pick will go to Milwaukee. So Milwaukee just took Braden Berries. I feel like Milwaukee should have took one of these other two, but yeah. Yeah, if I was Milwaukee, I probably would have traded back. I don't think Golden State or OKC would have taken Braden Berries. I feel like they should have traded back and gotten more picks, but Milwaukee has 10 and now they have 13, so we'll see who the other player they get is. I've heard a lot about Kareem Lopez. Maybe he could be the guy here at 13. Nate Ament is still on the board. Steinbach, Lopez. Could it be Christian Anderson? We'll see. Let's see. RB, I think what we do is run it back, draft a backup center for Embiid. This team just broke down the minds of all Celtics fans. Sure, their performance didn't show well, but run it back. Yeah, I just don't know if these guys can stay healthy, but running it back might be the most feasible solution right now based on the fact you can't really move those contracts. So maybe they do just run it back and see what happens. Let's see. Koa Peat, Ejiofor, Cenac, Nate Ament, Kareem if he falls to 22. Allan Graves. I'm not as high on Allan Graves as others. I wouldn't be mad if they selected him, but I'm not like as high on him as other people are. A lot of good players falling in this draft, though. I will say that. Once this pick's announced, I'm going to take a quick 60-second break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. But yeah, man, the Thunder getting Adama Mara at 12 and the Warriors getting Yax. Great picks, man. Great picks. I am surprised that Dallas went with Morez Johnson. We saw Johnson go off at 9 and then Yax go at 11 and Mara at 12. So those guys went 3 of the last 4 picks. I am surprised the Mavs went with Morez Johnson. Little surprising to me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Mustafa says we need a center because Embiid will be injured as soon as the season starts. Well, that's why I kind of like Chris Cenac Jr. How are we feeling, chat? How are we doing? How are we feeling? What do you guys think's going to happen, man? Things are about to get very interesting here in the next 10 picks. I could see the Sixers potentially moving back if they have guys that they like that are sliding, you know, picking up an extra first-round pick maybe or an extra second since they don't have a second. But all right, man, let's see what they do here. We are at number 13 after Mara goes to the Thunder. Let's see what the pick is here. This will be traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Nate Ament out of Tennessee, the freshman. Some said he couldn't go after 10, but here he is at 13. The Bucks like him, and they're going to get him. So Braden Berries and Nate Ament, 2 freshmen going to the Milwaukee Bucks. 19-year-old, one of the youngest in the draft, Nate Ament, 3-and-D wing, looking to develop his offensive game. A lot of people are high on him. A lot of people are super low. Probably has a lot of boom or bust potential in this draft. Nate Ament going to the Milwaukee Bucks. Second team All-SEC at Tennessee. So now it is Charlotte on the board at number 14. Let me know what you guys think about this Nate Ament pick. And Busy B says, I'd be mad as heck if I thought I was going to Miami, but got rerouted to Milwaukee. That's true. That's true. Milwaukee's doing pretty well here, trying to build out the next iteration of their team, I will say. They're doing pretty well. A lot of people are high on Nate Ament. All right, who do we think is going to go to Charlotte? Because I actually thought Morez Johnson was going to be the guy for them. I feel like they could use another big, another bruiser. Like if there's a team that needs a center, it is Charlotte. We've had all these guards go off the board, right? A very guard-heavy draft. Who do you think is going to go to Charlotte? I'm going to give you my thoughts on that after I take a quick break. I will be back here in just a minute or two. Don't go anywhere. But let me know your guys' thoughts about the board. Who do you think is going to go to Charlotte here at number 14? And I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back, man. We are still at pick number 14. They have not made a selection. Wonder if they could trade this pick, actually. Wonder if this could be a tradable slot. They do have number 18, by the way. So maybe Charlotte is trying to trade here and get back. Could they go with Kareem Lopez, the guy out of Mexico? I mean, I thought Milwaukee might have taken him, but I don't know, man. This board's kind of falling pretty interesting. I went to the bathroom. Did we get any blockbuster trades? Anything? I need to know who's here rocking with your boy RB in the chat, man. Get active in the comments. Let me know you're in here, man. It is currently 9:30 Eastern here on the East Coast. I know a lot of you are tapped in during the season, but we do a lot of off-season coverage, man. We keep you up to date. Oh, we got Shams, man. What's going on? We got a trade here? Shams, give me something. Oh, he's talking about Milwaukee. They really brought in Shams to talk about Giannis, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a hot take here. Maybe it's not really a hot take, but they need to go bring Woj out of retirement, man. I remember I read something about Woj. He obviously had taken over a program as a GM, a college program, and I don't think it worked out too well. They need to go get Woj back in here, man. It doesn't hit the same as it did with Woj. No offense, Shams, but Woj was that guy, man. And I find it very interesting that a lot of media people are now starting to make a transition into like front offices. I just saw the other day that Kendrick Perkins is now taking over a college program on the side as an assistant or a GM. And also, I just heard a rumor earlier today that ESPN reporter Tim Bontemps is potentially about to get hired into the Hawks front office. A lot of these reporters are getting hired, man. It's very interesting. All right, here we go. Number 14. Trade to announce. We're talking about Giannis again? Come on, Silver. We know the Giannis trade. All right, here we go. Charlotte Hornets, 14th pick. They select. Wow, they got Steinbach. Hannes Steinbach. He was on my list here as a potential trade-up candidate. Hannes Steinbach is going to the Charlotte Hornets. They needed a big, and they got one. I like Steinbach a lot. A lot of people were saying he could end up being, one of the steals of this draft. He's 6'10", 6'11", 250 pounds. He's a mobile big, still working on his interior game, but he can hit some shots. He's got a great feel for the game, pretty solid passer, great rebounding instincts. He has a 7'2" and a quarter-inch wingspan and 9-foot standing reach. Maybe not the best vertical pop as an athlete, but last year he averaged 18.5 points, almost 12 rebounds a game, shot 34% from three. Pretty willing shooter, I would say. 2 turnovers a game, got to the free throw line. Yeah, he's going to be a good player, man. And I think Charlotte needed some help in their front court. Pretty solid get for the Charlotte Hornets. Can probably play a little bit of the 5 as well. Nation's leading rebounder, as it says here. You polish his game a little bit more as an offensive guy. Obviously, again, he's not the best athlete, but yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential, even as a rim protector, too. It didn't really show up all the time in the box score, but he's got a great feel for the floor. I made a comparison yesterday about Steinbach. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Sengun in a way. But anyway, Hannes Steinbach going to the Charlotte Hornets at number 14. So that is the draft pick for the Charlotte Hornets. Boy, oh boy. Guys, who do we think the Sixers are going to get? Who should they take, man? Who should they select? Guys, what does your gut instinct tell you right now? Like, I want your honest gut instinct with about, 30 minutes to an hour till the Sixers pick. Who is your gut instinct of who will be drafted by the 76ers? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. What do you guys think? Hornets are going to be dangerous. They continue to get better. They have built their team up the right way, and if Steinbach pans out, it would be a very interesting fit for them, honestly. I'm going to tell you guys my biggest fear right now, and I don't want this to sound like it's terrible, but my biggest fear is that based on who the Sixers worked out, there was like 5 players that they reportedly worked out. Matter of fact, let me pull those up here. Where is it at? I make like a draft sheet every year, and I have a bunch of notes. Where's my draft notes at? Here it is. So the Sixers had private workouts, according to what we know so far. They had them with Koa Peat, Dalen Swain, Chris Cenac Jr., Allan Graves, Isaiah Evans, and Zuby Ejiofor. My biggest fear is that they're going to reach for one of these guys at 22 when they could probably get them at the end of the first round, like an Allan Graves or, I don't know, Koa Peat. I'm not saying they would be the worst picks in the world. I want to go with a guy that has a proven jump shot or a willingness to shoot, that has, the measurables that stack up to the NBA level. I know everybody is in love with the analytics with like an Allan Graves, but I don't know. Somebody compared him to George Niang, and I just can't unsee it. He's like a more analytically driven George Niang. No, that's not fair. I mean, he's a solid player, but I don't know. I want a guy that I feel is going to develop in 5 years as well. And Koa Peat, great athleticism, solid rebounder, defender, multiple positions, but not really much of an offensive game. And I just feel like they may reach for one of those. I'm happy. Look, I'm not going to be mad if they pick those guys, but if they reach on them when they can get them later in the first round, I don't know. I feel like you want to get more draft capital in this draft. Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows what they're going to do? Still a lot of guys. Like, for example, Joshua Jefferson, I feel like he's going to go at the end of the first round. I could definitely see him getting picked by like the Knicks or the Celtics. I don't want those teams to get these players. I do think a team to watch. I think a team to watch is like the Raptors Spurs here at 19-20. I feel like those teams, could take some of the guys that the Sixers want. I feel like Charlotte or Detroit is going to take Bennett Stirts, if I had to guess. But we will see. Get a guy that can shoot and rebound. I agree. Those are the two biggest needs right now. Steinbach is a good pick by Charlotte. I feel like the board's playing out pretty well right now. Yeah, Evans to me is a really big sleeper in this draft. I could even see Evans being a guy that goes like in the last, pick or two of the first round, but I think he's going to be a very good player. I like Evans a lot. I have him rated higher than some other people, but yeah, I like Evans a lot. I don't know why, but I don't see us drafting Koa Peat. Yeah, I don't really want Koa Peat. He's not like in my top couple players. I wouldn't be mad at the pick, but I feel like it might be a reach. Been hearing a lot in the last couple days about him sliding down the draft boards. I don't think he's worth the pick at 22. 440 people in the live show. Welcome on in, Philly Take with RB. We continue to cover night one of the NBA Draft 2026. Here we go. Pick number 15, Chicago Bulls. Who will it be? Wow. The Chicago Bulls take Dalen Swain at number 15. A much talked about guard here in the Philadelphia realm. Swain goes as high as 15. Listen, man, polarizing prospect. They said that Swain is like a very ready, he's a professional ready type player, like he's ready to contribute from day one. He's got every attribute and every skill you need except for a polished jump shot. Do I think he was the right pick for Chicago? Nah, I don't know. They have a lot of guards, but they probably went with best player available. Swain is very good at a lot of things. Played at Texas, second team all SEC as a freshman. But his jump shot is horrendous. And a lot of people wanted him to the 76ers. I didn't think it was going to happen. I did not think he was going at 15. I think that was maybe a little bit of a reach for Dalen Swain, but I think Chicago is banking on him developing his jump shot. I think they're banking on him developing the jump shot. That's a surprising pick to me, but he's a good player. He will impact the floor. Didn't think he was going at number 15, though. A lot of guards are falling, though. Even with all the guards being taken, there's a lot falling. I really don't want the Sixers to take another guard that's like under 6'4". I don't want them to do that. But we'll see. We will see. Yeah, OKC's coming up again here after this next pick. Right now, it's Memphis on the board. They got Cam Boozer at number 3. Now they're on the board again. I think Memphis might look to go with one of the guards here. Let's see if they have best fit. Yeah, Christian Anderson out of Texas Tech. Another guy I could see going here is Lebron Phylon. It's another guy I've seen mocked in this area. Abuka Akori is another guard I've seen potentially. Let's go to the guards here. Here are the guards. Cameron Carr is another one. Yeah, I could see them taking one of these guards here. They're going to be trading Ja Morant, so again, it's all about playing the board, you know? It's all about how do these guys fall, and the guys that you're locking in on, like these NBA front offices, they have a hierarchy list, and, you know, if your guy gets taken off the board, do you go to number 2? Do you try to trade back? It's all kind of a split decision type of thing. But it's all about knowing your place, right? And like having those relationships. And one thing that Mike Gansey did stress a lot was he's a relationship builder. He's a relationship guy. He's a guy that, you know, other executives said that they could call at any time of the day. He'll answer the phone. He'll give them the time of day. I do think that that could prove to be very valuable. You know, he probably has a good sense on what some of these other teams are going to do, which can help you kind of decide how to play your own situation out. Dom says he was my top guy for us in Dalen Swain. I'm not a big believer in the jump shot being broken. And I think the Sixers have tried to take a chance on a lot of guys that don't have a solidified jump shot. And if you look at it, I just don't know if he can develop that. So that's where I'm at. All right, guys, we are halfway to 300 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. Get us to 300 right now. We will continue the draft coverage here throughout the rest of the night. I'm sure once the Sixers make the pick, we'll probably get to hear from Mike Gansey and the crew, unless they are trading back up. If we don't hear from them, then that means they're probably going to trade back in. But once they come out to the podium, I would assume the night will be over. So we will see who the Sixers take. We are 6 picks away. Looking forward to seeing what happens, man. Let's go. Get this through the algorithm. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for being here. Once again, this draft live show is brought to you by Kalshi. Mods, if you can, throw our link tree in the chat so people can check us out everywhere. Follow us everywhere. Board is falling. Very interesting. If I go back to my big board here, guys that are still on the board, pretty much all of them outside of Dalen Swain. Cameron Carr is still on the board as a potential candidate. So we will see. We shall see. Christian Anderson on the board. Abuka Akori's on the board. Bennett Stirts is on the board. Kareem Lopez is still on the board. That'd be crazy if the Sixers drafted Kareem Lopez. All right, here we go. I think the pick is in. Yes, it is. Number 16. Here we go. I think Memphis has to take a guard here. I think anything else would be crazy. I think it's going to be Phylon Jr. Is he a junior? I think he is. Oh, wow. Wow. Bennett Stirts is the pick. Bennett Stirts is the pick. Oh, wait, hold up. Hold up. Shams bomb. Shams bomb. We finally have a trade to announce. Hold up. Can I pull up Shams here? Hold up, Shams. Shams. Talk to me, Shams. We have our first trade of the draft. Shams is not live tweeting the picks this year, but Memphis is trading Bennett Stirts to the Oklahoma City Thunder for 2 second-round picks. They just moved down one spot. OKC wanted Bennett Stirts that bad that they just traded 2 seconds. They traded 2 seconds to move up. Wow. 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 Dude. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I'm sorry. I'm taking it all in. I'm trying to like process it in my brain. I liked Bennett Stirts a lot. I thought he would be a great fit for Charlotte or Detroit. First off, I can't believe they traded 2 seconds to move up one spot. Because I feel like Memphis, I don't know why Memphis would trade out of here. If they liked Bennett Stirts, why not take him? You need a guard, Memphis. Unless they're, again, they might draft Phylon right here. And then, you know, they have their guy anyway. How do the Thunder keep doing this, man? I know people are going to sit there and be like, oh, this is a lot of draft picks to move up, right? They just got 2 second-round picks for Aaron Wiggins a couple nights ago. They pretty much just turned Aaron Wiggins into Bennett Stirts. Bro, this man, Sam Presti, is on a heater, man. He needs to be stopped. He needs to be. They just turned Aaron Wiggins into Bennett Stirts. And they got Adama Mara as well. And they didn't have to do anything else. And they have how many guards on their team, man? For all the people that tell me, oh, well, you don't need that many guards. Well, how many guards do they have on their team, man? And ball handlers. Bennett Stirts is one of the most composed ball handlers in this draft. Safe floor type of player. He's going to be very good. They got SGA. They have, obviously, J-Dub is a ball handler, not a point guard, but a ball handler. They have AJ Mitchell. They have Jared McCain. Isaiah Joe's a free agent, maybe back. They get rid of Aaron Wiggins. They have so many guys, man. Holy smokes, dude. Oh my gosh, man. He'll probably end up flipping him in a couple years anyway. Wow, man. They're going to get rid of Lou Dort, so they pick up Bennett Stirts. They have Cason Wallace. I forgot about Cason Wallace. Dude, they have so many guards. They have Topic. They have Topic. So I'm going to assume, by the way, that they got pick 17, right? 17 and 2 seconds. But the Grizzlies need a guard. The Grizzlies absolutely need a guard. Thunder get Bennett Stirts, and the Grizzlies get the 17th pick and 2 seconds. Did the Thunder want to flip Jared McCain back to the Sixers? Do the Thunder want to trade Jared McCain now? I'm just asking for a friend. Whew. I don't get how we have our GM taken away, but the Thunder cruise through the draft every year. That's a fact. That's true. OKC got Sturts and Mara crazy. It really is. It really is, man. They have so much talent, man. So much talent. A lot of guards on that team, man. He fits what they do perfectly, too. He really fits it perfectly, man. So now my guess is that Memphis is going to take either Phylon or Aorei, maybe Cam Carr. That would be my guess here. I guess Isaiah Joe may not go back now to OKC. Guess we'll see. Guys, Jake Fisher just tweeted out, we have another trade. Guys, we have another trade. We have another trade. Sound the sirens, man. Sound the sirens. Sound the sirens. We have another trade, and I don't know why you would do that, Jake Fisher. All right, here we go. Here we go. Breaking news. We got the trade details. Shams Charania, what do you got for me? Breaking news. Memphis is trading number 17 to the Pistons to move back to 21 for 3 second-round picks. They just picked up 5 second-round picks. And they took Aorei, but he's not going to be a Memphis Grizzly. So I got the pick right, but he's going to Detroit. Aorei is going to the Grizzlies and will be traded to Detroit for. They just picked up 5 second-round picks, man. Holy smokes. Wow. 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 They just picked up 5 second-round picks in like a minute. And now the Memphis Grizzlies will pick right in front of the 76ers. So Aorei technically got drafted by the Thunder, traded to Memphis, and now traded to Detroit. Whew. Guys, this draft is getting wild, man. This draft is getting wild. I'm going to be honest with you, man. When the Grizzlies first traded back to 17, I didn't like it. But they just moved back 5 slots. They did pass up on a couple guards that I think would be good for their team. So I'm not saying that that's the smartest thing to do. but they just picked up 5 second-round picks. I mean, that is like really good GM work. This is a deep draft, and yeah, they're playing chess, man. They're playing chess. This is a deep draft, man. Maybe they'll use those picks to get back into the first round. I don't know. Wow. Holy smokes, man. So Memphis moves back to 17, and they move back to 21 for 3 second-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 5 second-round picks. Wow. And now Charlotte is on the board again. Corey's going to be pretty good on Detroit, man. Great pick for them. Every team is cooking right now. Sixers, what do you have for me? What do you have for me, Philly? What do you have? All right, man. Chat, who do you guys think the Sixers are going to pick? Who do you think they're going to select? Give me your thoughts in the chat. We got 570 people in here. Like the stream right now. Subscribe to the channel. Before we get into this frenziness here in the next 20 minutes or so, before we dive into all that, I do have to take a quick second and a quick break to shout out our great partners of the show over at Kalshi. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to experience all of the chaoticness, all of the craziness like we're experiencing right now in real time, you can do the same thing over on the Kalshi app. Playoffs are done. It is the summer of sports. On Kalshi, you can trade all of it from summer baseball. We got the All-Star game in Philly this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there. The World Cup games ongoing and much more. Kalshi is the largest prediction market out there. It is the first federally regulated financial exchange dedicated to trading on the outcome of future events and is available in all 50 states. Remember, the numbers move in real time on Kalshi. You can buy in or out at any time. And on Kalshi, you trade against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. As the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So for a limited time, download the Kalshi app, use the code PhillyTake, get $10 when you trade 10. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. Once again, all of it going down on their app right now. Check it out. Crazy summer of sports. We're seeing it right here in real time. Once again, check out Kalshi, 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk, may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more info, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Thank you to them for partnering on the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think the Sixers are going to select at pick number 22? Will they stay? Will they stay or will they not? Let's see. Do we have any more trades? Do we have any more trades to announce? Not going to lie, Memphis is kind of cooking, bro. Memphis is kind of cooking right now. Watch Memphis take somebody that the Sixers want at 21. Watch them take them right before. Let's go look at the draft board here. And once again, if you guys are just tuning in, here is my big board from the beginning of the night. Here's a lot of the players I like. Most of them are on the board still. Cameron Carr is still on the board. Cenac, Ejiofor, Evans, Jefferson, Peat. A couple others I like. Let's go to the board right here. So we have Charlotte up. Pick is in for them. Then we have Toronto, San Antonio, Detroit, and the 76ers. Detroit just traded that pick to Memphis, so it'll be Charlotte, Toronto, San Antonio, and Memphis, and then Philly. So what do we got? What do we think, man? What do we think? All right, here we go. Here we go. Pick is in. See who Charlotte takes at number 18. I'm trying to think. What do they even need? They got Steinbach. Guess they could use another big. I mean, they have a ton of guards. Maybe a forward. Best player available, maybe. Christian Anderson Jr., Texas Tech. They go with a guard. Honestly, best player available, you know? Guy that was mocked in the top 15. Solid pick, man. I think these teams are doing pretty well. There hasn't been any like crazy out of this world picks outside of Morris Johnson, in my opinion. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's a good pick. Christian Anderson, 244 assists last season. Wow. Third team AP All-American. Wow. All I can say is wow. Played 2 seasons. Texas Tech, 18.5 points last year, 7.4 assists, 3.6 rebounds. Shot 41.5% from 3. Great playmaker. That's a good choice. Shot almost 8 threes per game. That's a really good choice by Charlotte, man. Very good player. Wow. This board is falling crazy right now. Crazy. Oh, man. What do we think's going to happen, man? What do we think's going to happen? Toronto's on the board now. Guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Got to turn this off real quick. Hold up. All right, man. I'm bad. Thing was bugging. Guys, I don't know, man. Toronto, let's see. Does it say what they need here? Let's see. Toronto, where are we at here? Best available, Kareem Lopez, 6'9", 225 out of Mexico. Best fit, Allan Graves. They also need a center. You know, could they take Chris Cenac? Maybe. I don't know, man. Who do you guys think the Raptors are going to take? 570 people in here. Let's go. We need one more like. Hit that thumbs up. Let's go, chat. Couple picks away. Couple picks away. The Raptors are still on the clock. What do you guys think, man? What do we think? Cam Carr still on the board. Maybe he could be the pick here. Phylon is still on the board. I don't think the Raptors are going with a guard, though. It says they need perimeter scoring and playmaking. I feel like they need a center, man. I feel like they need a big. Guys, please don't spoil anything in the chat. I'm not going to look, but for other people, please don't spoil anything. All right, let's see. Let's see here. Christian Anderson, Charlotte, okay. All right, Raptors coming up here. Let's see who it's going to be. Who is it going to be at number 19? We're a couple picks away. Welcome into the 2026 NBA Draft live show here on Philly Take with RB. We're breaking down every pick, reacting to it live. We've been going for almost 3 hours, man. Let's go. 300 likes in the chat. Drop those yes sirs, baby. Drop those yes sirs. Let's go, man. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Wake them up. That's right, neighbors. It's draft night, baby. Sixers are coming up here in a few. Raptors, Spurs, Detroit, Philly. Well, actually, it's Raptors, Spurs, Grizzlies, Philly. Where is Adam Silver at, man? There he is. Let's go. Let's go. 19th overall pick. Who is it? Allan Graves to the Toronto Raptors. Out of Santa Clara. Woo! Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not like that potential pick. I'm glad he's not on the board. No offense to him. I think he'll be a decent role player. I feel like his floor is pretty good, but I don't know what his ceiling is. And I think he fits well in Toronto, kind of, sort of. But I'm glad that he is not an option for the 76ers. That's where I'm at. I don't know why Toronto took a forward. I don't understand it. They should have went with a center. But anyway, I mean, my board is falling perfectly right now, man. My board is falling perfectly. Guys, I'm telling you right now, if my board continues to fall this way and the Sixers take like a 6'1" guard, if they take Lebron Phylon Jr., I'm going to throw my hat through the wall, man. I'm kidding. I won't do that, but I'll be very frustrated. Now the Spurs are on the clock. This is where it gets very interesting. Best fit, it says Lebron Phylon Jr. I don't agree. I don't think ESPN is like updating this correctly. What do you mean Lebron Phylon? They need a big. They need a backup big. This is where I think Cenac could go off the board. Let's see best overall players. Kareem Lopez. Maybe they could take Lopez. Chris Cenac is number 3. I'm surprised they have him over Cameron Carr, but a lot of good players. Like, this board is falling perfectly for the 76ers, man. I could even see the Sixers trading back a couple spots and still getting someone they really like and getting a second-round pick. I'm just being honest here, man. It's all about to go down here in the next few minutes, man. What do we think? What do we think? Cameron Carr, could that be a pick? Maybe. Maybe. 6'5", though. 184. 6'6", maybe. On a good day. Cameron Carr, another Baylor player. 19 points a game last year. Shot 37% from 3. He is technically a guard, though. I don't know if I want another guard. I think you got to play the board as it comes to you, though. Guys, I'm going to be honest, man. I think with the way the board is falling right now, there is a chance that the Sixers do trade back here. I do think there's a possibility to get another draft pick. I would not be mad at that personally. But we'll see. Oh man. Here we go, man. Here we go. I'm kind of worried that the Spurs are going to take Cenac right here. I'm a little worried they're going to take Cenac. What do you guys think, man? What do we think? I'm going to go to the chat here in a second. Spurs are still on the clock right now. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Promise I'm not leaving you in the dark. Just trying to look a few things up here. All right. Lebron Phylon they're showing him. I don't think the Spurs are going with another guard. I think that would be insane. Cameron Carr? Nah. I can't believe Lopez is still on the board too. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I would consider trading back if a lot of these dudes stay on the board here. Like, I know there's only a couple picks left, but yeah, I mean, you could get 2 of these players. Chat, what do you guys think, man? Riaz says, I'll still say Cenac, Kareem, Cenac, or trade back. That rhymes. That's a bar. Lopez, Carr has potential to be top 5 in the draft. Mark Jackson likes Isaiah Evans. I really like Isaiah Evans. If you could get a power forward and Isaiah Evans, that would be money. I mean, look at the Memphis Grizzlies. They traded back 1 spot and they got 2 second-round picks. You could have a situation here where you end up with like 3 draft picks. There's Chris Cenac right there. Yo, I don't care what anybody says, man. I think Cenac could be a really good piece to develop. I think he fits the mold of kind of what the Sixers need. But I think this is probably the biggest opportunity for someone to take Cenac before Philly. Once again, the players that the Sixers worked out. Where's it at? I thought I had it up. Where's it at? Guys, we're almost 3 hours strong, man. Let's go. Let's go, man. Hit the like button. Get us to 500. Sixers worked out Dalen Swain, Koa Peat, Chris Cenac, Allan Graves, Isaiah Evans, and Zuby Ejiofor. So I'm starting to feel like it could be Koa Peat, Chris Cenac, Isaiah Evans, or Zuby Ejiofor. Swain and Graves are off the board. Pick is in, man. Alrighty. Here we go. 20th overall pick, San Antonio. Wow, they picked Jaden Quaintance. Dude, this is wild, man. 6'9", 253 pounds. Now, Jaden Quaintance is probably the biggest question mark in this draft class. He played 4 games last year at Kentucky. His athleticism and his defense and his rebounding and all that are off the charts. But he's coming off a nasty ACL tear. For the Spurs, I think it makes a lot of sense. They draft a big, that can rehab, that can play behind Wemby. And I think his athleticism and his potential, his boom potential, is sky high. He's young. He's one of the youngest players in the draft. I think that's a solid pick. I'm surprised he went at number 20. I'm surprised he went that high. But I see the vision of why they drafted him. And I'm surprised, but man, I mean, everybody is still on the board right here. So, if you're the 76ers, man, this is a very, very interesting draft board right now because Lebron Phylon or Cameron Carr, one of those guys is going to be on the board here at number 22. Do you go with a guard? I'm asking you right now, chat. Do they go with a guard? Even though they don't want a guard, probably. Do they go with the upside and a player that they could have gotten in the top 15? Or do they still stick to the plan and go with a big? That's the biggest question right now. Lebron Phylon, sophomore out of Alabama, 6'4", 180, averaged 22 points a game last year. He shot 40% from three, 5 assists per game, 3.5 boards. Good feel for the game, 1.2 steals. Cameron Carr is a junior out of Baylor, transfer, 19 points a game, 37% from three, 5.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.9 steals, 1.3 blocks. He is 6'5", 175. Personally, I don't want to go with a guard, but I do think that sometimes, again, you have to play the board how it comes to you. If you have a high grade on one of those two players, like they are sky high above anybody else on your draft board, then I'm not going to be mad if you go and select one of those guys. But you have to be sure that there is a concrete plan for those guys here in the future, right? It can't be another Jared McCain where you end up trading him in a year. You don't want that. I don't know, man. This is tough. And who's up now? Memphis? I mean, I think they're going to take one of these guys. Guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. 750 people in here. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe to the channel. We are 2 picks away from the 76ers making a selection. I don't like the undersized guard thing, but Phylon and Carr are probably overall better prospects. But again, it goes back to that question of, do you go for best player available or do you go for fit? I still think a trade back scenario could make sense too. $5 super chat from Michael Noel. Thank you for the super chat. Says, who is our point guard moving forward over 6'6" and under 30? What do you mean under 30? Who is our point guard moving forward? I mean, if you're saying we don't have a true point guard, I hear you. But Lebron Phylon is 6'4", and Cameron Carr is listed as 6'5", 6'6". So, yeah. I mean, again, they're good prospects, you know? It all depends on what you're looking for in this draft. Even Kareem Lopez is still on the board, which I'm surprised about. This is going to be a wild finish here, man. I do think Memphis is going to take one of these guys here. The fact that Memphis got 5 second-round picks to move back is crazy. I just feel like if the Sixers pick a guard here, man, they need to have a clear vision for how that guard's going to affect the team. Because that same thing happened with Jared McCain, and then they traded him. I do think Carr has a lot of potential. I really like his game. All right, let's see what happens here first. Let's see what they do first. Pick is in. Here we go. This is Detroit going to go to Memphis. Kareem Lopez goes to Detroit and now Memphis. Kareem Lopez out of Mexico, 6'8" forward. Crafty big. He goes to Memphis, and now the Sixers are on the clock, baby! Oh my gosh. All right, if you are just in here, just tapping in, first off, I'm going to not look at the chat so I don't get spoiled. Welcome into the Draft Live show. Sixers are on the clock here at 22. You could not have predicted this draft board any other way. Lebron Phylon is on the board at number 22. Cameron Carr is on the board at number 22. All of the guys that we have mostly here on our big board, Chris Cenac, Zuby Ejiofor, Isaiah Evans, Josh Jefferson, Koa Peat, all on the board. Cameron Carr and Phylon feel like, one of the two guys that you could draft. Then again, do you go for best player available? Do you go for fit on the team? Because I think we all know that the Sixers need a big body. They need rebounding. They also do need shooting. Phylon feels like a very well put together prospect. Same thing with Cam Carr. But again, the question is, what is the direction that the Sixers want to go in? Could they trade back here? I think that's a very real scenario as well. Guys, things are about to get crazy here, man. Welcome on in. The Sixers have a huge decision to make. They are on the clock. They could not have predicted the board falling this way. They have Lebron Phylon still on the board, guard out of Alabama. They have a guard/wing out of Baylor in Cam Carr. And they have a lot of the bigs, a lot of the forwards and centers that they wanted still here on the board. So who do you guys think they're going to select? Let me know in the chat. Who do you want? Let's see what ESPN says as the best fit. Best fit, they say Chris Cenac Jr. Best available, Lebron Phylon. That's a perfect way to sum it up right there. Kareem Lopez goes off the board to Detroit and traded to Memphis. So what will the 76ers do? It all comes down to this. The first draft pick of the new era, of the new regime, Mike Gansey, who was very involved in draft discussions in Cleveland, now gets to put his fingerprint on the first pick here for the 76ers. So who will it be? It all comes down to this. Could they trade back? I do think that trading back is a realistic scenario here. The Sixers don't just need one player, they need many. So maybe they could get some depth here. But we have 2 minutes to go, and a lot of these players are still on the board, and the Sixers are still here with 1:40 to go. Coming into this draft, I can't say I'm overly excited about a guard. I can't say I'm too hyped up about, picking a guard under 6'4", 6'5". But if that is the best player available, and you believe in the long-term prospect of that pick, then I can't argue that logic. My only defense is you saw the same thing kind of play out with Jared McCain. You saw the same kind of situation where you drafted a guard. He didn't start right away, right? You got VJ Edgecombe, and one guy became expendable, and he shouldn't have been traded. He was, to duck the tax. But I don't want to see a similar situation like that in the future. Now, this is also the first draft of Mike Gansey and not Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey was really key in finding talent. There's two guys right here that you know are probably worthy of a top 15 to 16 pick. Will the Sixers go with one of those? Or will they stick with one of the players they worked out? Because to be honest, I don't think they worked out either one of these players. But the draft camera keeps showing them to. So it says here, best available, Phylon, Cenac, Cameron Carr, Isaiah Evans, and Zuby Ejiofor. So this is going to be a very, very telling draft pick right here. Let's see what the Sixers do. 15 seconds to go. Fires in the chat, baby. Fires in the chat. Here we go, man. Here we go. We will give you a live reaction and breakdown and analysis as well. Lebron Phylon is smiling. Could he be the pick here at number 22? He's shaking hands with his agent. Could Phylon be the pick? A guard out of Alabama. Even though I feel like he would be on the phone. Am I right? Maybe it's a handshake of like, yo, we're still good. You know, we're going to get picked. No worries. Like the stream and subscribe to the channel. Let's go. We're breaking it down all draft long, all off season. The pick is in. Here we go. 76ers at number 22. They will be selecting a player. Let's see who it ends up being here. Phylon has a wide smile on his face. Could it be him? His family looking up, wondering if this is the one. He looks very jittery. I think it might be Phylon. I think it might be Phylon. Where is Adam Silver at? Some kid is repping a VJ Edgecombe black Sixers jersey. Shout out to him. This is now the fourth time that they've showed Lebron Phylon. Is he crying? Oh, he's crying. It's definitely him. It's definitely him. He's got a bloodshot eye, too. It's going to be Phylon. It has to be. Lebron Phylon Jr., guard out of Alabama, officially selected by the 76ers at number 22. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Guys, how do we feel about Lebron Phylon Jr. at number 22? How do we feel? I think a lot of people are going to love this pick, and a lot of people are going to hate this pick. That's my instant gut reaction off the bat. What do you guys think? How do we feel about this pick? Let me pull up his stats real quick here, and we'll go through it. Oof. All right, guys. Lebron Phylon Jr. at number 22. All right, how do we feel about this pick, guys? Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very polarizing pick. I feel like the chat's probably going nuts right now. I think a big question to ask is, are the Sixers done for the draft? All right. First and foremost, all right, I'm going to pull up his stats here. We'll take a look at it. So the Sixers select Lebron Phylon Jr. with the 22nd pick. And I think there's going to be people on both sides of this. One is going to be, this is an amazing pick, amazing value pick. He should not have been there at 22. The Sixers got an absolute steal. In one fashion, you can say, incredible pick, right? Best player available. How did he slide down past some of these teams? Amazing pick. And when you look at his stats, Lebron Phylon Jr., 22 points a game, 3.5 boards, 5 assists, very good feel for the game. 1.2 steals per game, shot almost 40% from three, 80% from the free throw line, 50% from the field. This guy is a natural playmaker and scorer. And he's a guy that'll be very comfortable with the ball in his hands, can provide that next level of playmaking for the 76ers. And nobody thought he would be there at 22. So in one sense, the Sixers got an absolute steal. Great first pick by Mike Gansey. Now on the flip side, the negatives that people are going to come in with are the following. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's listed as a $175, so he's a bit undersized. And you may be questioning, well, why did the 76ers take another guard under 6'5" when they already have two of them, and they also just traded one last year at the deadline? And the board fell perfectly. Most of the players that the Sixers fans wanted in terms of forwards and centers and bigs, they were all on the board. It almost felt like a potential trade back scenario. But I think my overall takeaway is, if you can get a guy that you have valued much higher and you get him without even having to move up, then I think you can't argue with that logic. Like, that is a good way to approach the draft. And the Sixers get a really good young player. How old is he? 20? 21? He's, how old is he? Doesn't even say. Hold on. Is he 20 or 21? He's 20 years old. And when's his birthday? November. So he'll be 20 years old when the season begins. So you get a guy that's going to be 20 years old when the season begins. A lot of time to develop, right? I said I wanted a player that can contribute now and in the future. And I do think he will be able to do that. The question is, how does he slot in with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe? Because I don't want to get to a point where you're going, well, do they play Phylon? Do they play Maxey? Do they play VJ? How do you play those three together? We saw the same kind of situation play out with Jared McCain. At this point, I think when you get to 22, you have to be happy with best player available. But there are still some questions and concerns about the fit. Can they get a big? Can they get a forward, a center? Does this mean they're comfortable with PG and Embiid and they're just going to run it back and add more guard help? What does this mean for Quentin Grimes? I mean, it probably means Grimes is out the window at this point. So I think this was the most polarizing way that Mike Gansey could have started his career here in Philadelphia. And I think the Sixers got a steal of a pick, but what will the long-term fit be? That is the biggest question. And can the 76ers move back in either to the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round and get another player? If they do that, consider it a top-level success across the board. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Sixers had no bench in the playoffs. Quentin Grimes couldn't shoot his way out of a paper bag. Quentin Grimes couldn't throw a ball into the ocean if you asked him to. Remember that playoff game where the Sixers had no bench points until the fourth quarter? They need another guy that can score. They need another guy that can play make, that can handle the rock. Quentin Grimes could not do that. So Phylon will absolutely fill in some of the gaps. He looks like an NBA-ready player. He fills the void of you need a guy that could contribute now and in the future as well. And Zuby Ejiofor just went off the board with the next pick to the Atlanta Hawks. So I'm sure a lot of people are now going to talk about this draft pick for years. Should they have taken Ejiofor, or was taking Phylon the right choice? And that is something that we're going to have to decide now for a while. So anyway, man, that is my overall takeaway on Phylon. Phylon nearly doubled his three-point volume from his freshman to his sophomore season. Let's see, anything else I can find interesting about him? He increased his three-point percentage from 31.5% up to almost 40%. So I love the development factor. A lot of people might say, should you have taken Cam Carr instead? That's another potential question. But again, if we look at Phylon Jr., played 33 games last year at Alabama, and he was an All-American third team. Won some awards. He shot 6.2 threes per game, and he shot 8.5 twos per game, 22 points per game. Shot almost 15 times per game. Played pretty well in the tournament, if I remember as well. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find his tournament stats. Because I remember watching him in the March Madness tournament. And then we will get to some of the comments here in just a few moments. I don't know, man. I feel like the 76ers need to get another draft pick. I think they need to trade back in and get another player, if I'm being completely honest. By the way, the New York Knicks just traded up from 25 to 24, the champs. So let's see, man. What do we think's going to happen? What do we think's going to happen? What do we think about trading Jared McCain just to get Phylon? I mean, it also is a different front office regime, you know? What do you guys think? All right. I'm going to get to some of the super chats and the comments here. Make sure you all like and subscribe. Guys, what is your grade on this pick? Do you like this pick? Do you think it was good? Do you think it was bad? What do you think? I'm going to get to your thoughts here in a second. I'm trying to find his tournament stats. All right, let's see. Lebron Phylon Jr. dominated the tournament with 24.3 points per game, 7.7 assists, and 7 rebounds across 3 tournament games for the Crimson Tide before being eliminated in the Sweet 16. He had a 29-point game, a 35-point game in the Sweet 16 against the Michigan Wolverines, the champions, by the way. He had 35 points against the national champs. So this guy has shown he can show up on the biggest stage and he can play under the bright lights. I like it. Like I said, if you watch his tape, he's one of the most composed guards in this draft. I do think the Sixers got an absolute steal. I think they got a steal of a player. The fit is certainly a question. But what do you guys think? All right, let's hit up some of these super chats here, and we'll read out a few in the chat. $2 super chat, time to obligation. Thank you. He says, I want Raptors to grab him. LeBaron is so universal. Oh, Good way to describe him. RDB, $2 super chat. Thank you. Says traded McCain just to get another guard. LOL. Carlos Rosado, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Salute. At first, I did not understand the pick. I'm going to step back and let the new GM Cook give him a bit of a leash to see what his vision is. I think that's fair. It is Ganzi's first draft. He is kind of handcuffed with the situation. But at the end of the day, we do have to give him a little bit of a leash. We do have to give him the benefit of the doubt because it is his first draft. I would like to see him move up and get another draft pick in this draft personally. I'm still a little confused on the guard thing. But I think what happened was they went best player available. I think that's what they did. $2 super chat. RDB says if Cenac wasn't the pick, it should have been Evans. Fair. First off, let's see who the Knicks are about to take here with the 24th pick. Let's see. And the Knicks get Cameron Carr. I knew it. I knew they were going to do this, man. Didn't I just say this 10 minutes ago, guys? And the Celtics are going to get either Isaiah Evans or Chris Cenac. Watch. That's what I didn't want to happen. I feel like the Knicks may have taken Phylon if he fell anyway, but how did I know the Knicks were going to get one of these players? They get Cameron Carr. It's an absolute steal. And now the Celtics are up in a couple picks. I feel like they're probably going to get like Chris Cenac or whoever else. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm coming back to the chat here. What's your grade for this pick? If you had to grade the Lebron Phylon pick, what would you give it for a grade? Drop it in the chat right now. So Zuby Ejiofor went to the Hawks at 23. Cameron Carr went to the Knicks at 24. They traded up to get him from the Lakers. So it's the Lakers, Nuggets, Celtics, and then there will be 3 more picks in the draft. I think if I had to grade the pick overall, I'm probably going to give it a B+. I think a B or a B+ is probably fair because you still got a really good player, but the fit is certainly a question. Let's see. A, D+, C, F, A+, B-, A-, B-. I would give it a B, says Riaz. A if they trade back, B if they don't. Carr went to the Lakers. No, he went to the Knicks. He went to the New York Knicks. C+, A, F, C+, B-, B+, A-. Phylon is 6'4" in shoes. Yeah, I don't like the undersized thing. I think it's fair to question the fit. What do you guys think? I had a feeling it was going to be one of those two once they were both on the board. But yeah, I'm a little conflicted. I think he's going to be a value player. I think now you can let Quentin Grimes walk. But I'll be honest though, it didn't answer the question about Paul George and Joel Embiid. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, guys. You guys are right. My fault. I got so many things going on in my head. You guys are right. The Lakers got Cameron Carr. My bad. My fault. I take the L there. Cameron Carr went to the Lakers. I forgot that they don't switch the actual logos on the picks. So the Knicks traded back for cash considerations. Why did the Knicks trade back for cash considerations? You guys are right. My bad. I made a mistake. The Lakers got Cameron Carr. That's a really good pick. I'm actually very happy he did not go to the Knicks. So now who are the Knicks going to take? The Knicks got cash considerations because they probably got all this money tied up. But yeah, Cameron Carr to the Lakers. Now the Knicks are on the board at 25. What do we think about Lebron Phylon? What do we think about Lebron Phylon? I'm going to see and wait. I didn't see them grabbing a guard. Yeah, I mean, I didn't either. Nobody did. But you do have to wonder, again, why did you trade Jared McCain? I mean, you got some extra second-round picks, but Chris Cenac still on the board, by the way. I do want to mention that. Cenac is still on the board. Let's see what people on Sixers X are saying about Lebron Phylon. See what people are saying about him. Finished third in the SEC in scoring en route to first-team All-SEC honors. Here, I'll pull this up so you guys can see it as well. There he is. Philly Phylon. I do think, again, it's going to be a very polarizing pick with the guard stuff. I mean, again, you could have just kept Jared McCain. I'm going to be honest. This is not a guy I watched a ton of in the pre-draft process because I didn't think he would even be here. But I'm surprised Memphis passed on him. I'm surprised that Charlotte and Detroit passed on him. But the small guard thing is definitely something to be concerned about. A little bit. I do like his pick and roll ability. I think he can be a necessary or he can be a primary facilitator. He's a good player. But you should not have traded McCain. Lebron Phylon Jr., favorite skills, P&R manipulation, 3-level scoring, ball handling, and getting paint touches. His defense will be shaky because of his 176-pound frame, but Nick Nurse will maximize him on that end. Let's see. Sixers had the 4th worst scoring bench in the NBA. Their lack of reserve shot creation was evident. He has the pathway to be 6-man Philly desperately needs. See, I don't like how we're talking about, 6-man. We had a 6-man. His name was Jared McCain. I don't know, man. I do like the 5 assists. Scoring rate leaders in the NCAA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 7th on this list. 36.7 points per 100. 10 free throws attempted per 100. 63% true shooting. That's really good. 63 true shooting is really good. 66% at the rim. 45% mid-range, 40 from 3. I mean, those are great numbers. All right, let's see who the Knicks are about to get now. Sergio De La Rey from Spain. Sergio De La Rey. What do we think about that? Who the heck is that? People are probably saying. People are like, who the heck is that? Well, I mean, these numbers are good, guys. These are good. We have to separate the two. That was our last GM mistake. That's why he's not here. That's a good point. That is a good point. $5 super chat from New York says Phylon is more athletic, plays better defense, has a better handle than Jared. Also, he's 6'4" and shot 40% from three. The numbers speak for themselves. Thank you for the super chat. I agree. The numbers do speak for themselves. Very efficient scorer, very efficient player. Sixers obviously need guard help. They need a bench, you know. They need guard help off the bench. I'm not mad at the pick. I'm certainly not mad at the pick. I just think there are questions about what do you do in terms of the forward and the center depth on this team. Do you guys at least agree with that? Do you agree? I mean, overall, I still think it's a good pick because I didn't think he would be there, you know? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? We'll read out some comments here. And honestly, some of the guys we like are still on the board currently. Some of these dudes are still on the board right now. So, what do you guys think? Sorry, I'm just trying to look up a few different things here. We need Evans. They need to trade back in. Evans would be a great pick. I don't see them drafting another like guard or wing now, but it would be interesting though. Sixers still, I mean, keep in mind, they did get more picks than just this one for McCain, so they do have some seconds and all coming up. But I am excited to see if they get back into this draft. That would be, to me, that would be like the biggest splash, you know? Like if they came back in here at like the end of the first round or early tomorrow, that would be huge. What do you guys think? What do we think? Do you think the Sixers made a mistake by not taking a forward or a center, or do you think they did the right thing by going with best player available? What do you guys think? What is the overall fan base consensus right now? If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you follow us on all social medias, all platforms. We are doing this all the time, man, every year. Breaking down the draft, breaking down the offseason. We got free agency coming up. A lot of interesting things to talk about now. This obviously was kind of a twist, you know. I don't think anybody really expected him to be here at 22. A lot of people thought he may go in the, like in the 15 range. I think sometimes when you have the best player available, you just have to run with it, you know. Cenac is still on the board, by the way. If they were ever to get Cenac, it would be insane. What do you guys think? As I try to look this up here. Cool J says, we did not need another guard. Busy B says, we did not need to draft a guard. iShine says, if we get Cenac, this draft is an A+ in my opinion. Another 6'2" non-point guard who can't pass and dribbles the air out of the ball. I mean, he definitely can pass. I'm not saying he's the best facilitator, but he definitely can, definitely has a little bit of facilitation to his game. If you hated trading McCain, you wanted a guard. We got a steal of a guard. What's the problem? Well, yeah, that is what we're saying. We're saying that, you know, if you hated trading McCain, it's like, why did you even trade him to begin with? You know, you definitely still needed more guard help for sure. But I think people are just wondering if the Sixers are going to address, you know, the 4 and the 5 spots. That's what I think people are really wondering now. That's the main question. I mean, again, they don't have a second round pick. So, you know, certainly interesting. But they could trade back in. They could get back in. $5 super chat, RDB, thank you so much. He says Phylon is 6'2" without shoes. The Sixers love small guards. Well, you're not lying about that, man. You're not lying about the small guard thing. Sixers do like small guards. They usually draft small guards. I knew that this was going to be a polarizing pick. And by the way, we have another trade to announce. The Denver Nuggets have traded number 26 to the Spurs. Denver has traded to the Spurs for number 35 and 2 seconds. And the Spurs are picking Darius Reed Jr. Wow. Darius Reed Jr. is going off the board before Chris Cenac Jr. Yo, could the Sixers still get Cenac? Yo. Wow. Look, I like Darius Reed. He was in the national championship game. Had 27 rebounds in one of those big games. He's a monster. But he went over Chris Cenac Jr.? Did we overrate Chris Cenac Jr.? A lot of people were telling me I'm crazy for thinking about Chris Cenac Jr. He's still on the board. I want to make that very clear. And the Spurs just got another big man. So the Spurs got Jaden Quaintance. There is a huge question mark around the health and the availability. And now the Spurs just got Darius Reed Jr. So they just got 2 big men to potentially back up Wemby. I think that's a great combination. Cenac is still on the board, and this is my biggest fear, is that he's about to get picked by the Celtics. I am going to very much hope that the Celtics do not take him right here. Let's go to best remaining. Isaiah Evans and Chris Cenac, 2 of my top 3 players. Please do not let the Boston Celtics take Chris Cenac or Isaiah Evans. I feel like they're going to take one of them, though. Or Joshua Jefferson. I feel like they're going to take one of them. Chat, how do we feel, man? How do we feel? Is the night over? I haven't gotten any tweets that say the Sixers night is over yet. So, what do we think, man? What do we think? Cenac, Isaiah Evans, Koa Peat still on the board, Josh Jefferson, Malik Thomas on the board. Celtics have a tendency to have guys fall right in their lap at the end of the first round. See who they take. Let's go back here. All right, here we go. So that trade just happened. $5 super chat from Riaz. Thank you so much. He says, RB, does this pick say anything about free agency? I mean, we can't rebound the ball whatsoever. Is there a plan to address the front court at all? Riaz, that is the $1 million question, my man. First off, thank you for the super chat. Thank you to everybody in here supporting us, man. Yeah, I think it says a lot about free agency, Riaz. I think number one, it says that the Sixers are comfortable with letting Quentin Grimes walk. And number two, I don't think it means that they're just going to, sign a power forward in free agency, but it means that they were willing to go best player available and that they didn't view the need so high that it overtook everything else. So I still think the Sixers need to address the rebounding. You're absolutely right. It's been the biggest issue on this team, but they went with best player available. They've done that before, and it's worked out pretty well. So again, there's going to be arguments strong on both sides, but I think what it says about free agency is that they're not really big believers in Quentin Grimes, and there is a chance that he can walk in free agency, and they're going to let him do it. So that's kind of what I feel looking at that personally. What do you guys think? But they absolutely need rebounding, man. 100%. For sure. Chris Cenac, though, is still on the board. I would honestly try to go up and get him, personally. Jefferson's on the board. Evans is on the board. Pete's on the board. What do we think, man? I am surprised that Terrace Reed went here in the first round, but I guess his tournament run kind of helped him out there. Does trading back in mean we would give up Phylon? No, what I'm saying is trade back in for a second pick. They're not giving up Phylon, but I'm saying use some of the future second round picks you have to try to move into this second round. Just because I think there's still some good players on the board personally, but I don't know. They still need rebounding, though. Sixers absolutely need rebounding. It's been the biggest issue every single year. All right, here we go. Boston Celtics, who's it going to be? And the Boston Celtics select Chris Cenac Jr. It's actually crazy, guys. It really is crazy how I can predict these things. It's unbelievable, man. How did I know that? Like, I got the Knicks one wrong. You know, they traded the pick and the Lakers took Cameron Carr. How did I know that Cenac was going to end up with the Boston Celtics? It feels like every year in the draft, there's a guy that we want, and they fall right to the Boston Celtics. I literally have said that about 5 times tonight. I said one of those guys that we want is going to end up with the Celtics, and they get Chris Cenac Jr. at number 27. So, listen, man, I mean, that's a guy that a lot of us wanted. He did fall way more in the draft than everybody thought. But with the skills and the traits and the measurables, with some development, and we know Boston can develop players, that's for sure, it feels like that's a very, very solid pick for the Boston Celtics. It really does. I'm not going to lie. It does feel like a really good pick for them. Every single time, dude. Every time it happens. Every time. Yeah, no, I feel like that was a good pick. Sixers still need rebounding. They need size. They need, they need a lot still. I still like the Phylon pick. I don't think it's a bad pick by any means, but I just knew that Cenac was going to end up with either New York or Boston, and he goes to Boston. So, yeah. And now he'll probably turn into a star. So you're upset because Cenac fell to the Celtics, who averages 9.5 points a game, but the guy we drafted is terrible at 22 points per game. I'm not even going to respond to that, man. You're comparing two dudes that play different positions with different types of games. That makes no sense. And once again, I'll repeat it one more time for the people that can't listen, but no, I'm not mad with the pick at 22. I'm mad that a player that I really liked went to the Boston Celtics at 27. Like anybody but Boston, bro. Good pick, though. We have 3 picks left here in the first round. Minnesota, Cleveland, and Dallas. Let's look at the best available players. Isaiah Evans still on the board. Koa Peat, we've heard his name potentially slipping a lot. Henry Vassar on the board. Malik Thomas. I feel like the Cavaliers are like a pure Joshua Jefferson team. Maybe Minnesota will take him here, but I feel like Josh Jefferson is a guy that would fit those teams pretty well. I like Cenac, but he was not a better pick than Phylon. I agree with that. I agree. Phylon is way, way, way better of a player. And you had the draft best player available. I just don't like Cenac falling to the Celtics. But honestly, if I'm the Sixers, I would go up and get Isaiah Evans. I think he'd provide some great shooting off the bench. Even Vassar. You know, I mean, they're still going to need a backup center. Unless they believe in Adama Mara. But there's a lot of good players here on the board. Even Josh Jefferson, I would like at the beginning of the second. Nets are going to take Vassar for Clayton replacement. Pete in the second round. Sixers need to trade up. Let's see. Minnesota needs to replace Nas off the bench. Yeah, I could see them taking Jefferson for sure. We got a couple picks left, and then we'll be wrapping this up. But like I said, we'll have our live reaction, a lot of other content put out tonight and tomorrow. As of now, I don't really plan on streaming the draft tomorrow, but if the Sixers trade for some picks, I will. I'll be away on Thursday to Sunday, so by the way, your boy's birthday coming up here in a couple days, man. Your boy RB, man. Another trip around the sun. You know what I mean? Thank you to the NBA for not putting the draft on my birthday this year. Appreciate it. Allow me to take some time away. Very nice of Adam Silver. Here's Minnesota's selection. 28th pick. Reported trade to Brooklyn. Joshua Jefferson. There he goes. There he goes. I think they're just listening into this stream, man. I got to stop saying these names. My bad. So Jefferson, drafted by Minnesota. I forgot the pick was traded last night in the Julius Randle swap. So Jefferson is going to Brooklyn. It's a great pick for them. Another guy I would have liked. Can do a little bit of everything. As a 4 senior out of Iowa State. First guy to be drafted out of Iowa State since Tyrese Halliburton. Can we afford Robert Williams? Potentially, yeah. Maybe. Happy early birthday. Thank you. Appreciate that. Happy 21st. Thank you so much. Kind words, man. Kind words. I wish. Bonus going to be our starting center. Nah, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Janai Broom, man, that was a bad draft pick, man. That was a bad draft pick. Yeah, I would like to get Isaiah Evans. I really like his game. Kind of reminds me of last year when I wanted Drake Powell out of Duke. Nets took him. 2 picks left here, Cleveland and Dallas. I feel like both of those teams could honestly use Evans. Nets love getting multiple picks in the first round. Yeah, they do. Cleveland, give us your pick. I would take Koa Peat now, says King Stanton. Beer batter gummy shark. Not that old, man. Not even close. But yeah, man. Birthday vibes incoming. Thank you for the early birthday wishes, though. Appreciate it. Trade for Evans would be huge. Mike Gansey needs to be fired if the Sixers don't trade up. That is crazy, man. They're saying to fire him already? My man just started his job. He just started his job, man. Crazy. Crazy. Knicks will end up with Evans at 31 just to continue misery. I hope not. I hope not, man. The Heat and Milwaukee got worse. There's that. True. True. Like I said, I think Phylon's a good pick at 22. I just think, again, you still have to address the other needs on the roster. Sixers did need guard help. Let's not let that go past us. You know what I mean? They still needed guard help, but they also need a rebounder. But all right, man. I mean, it's interesting out here, I will say. Interesting. All right, we have another trade, man. We have another trade. Cleveland has traded the 29th pick to the Sacramento Kings for number 34 and a future second rounder. And the Kings are now interested in Alex Karaban at 29. What? No way. Bruh. The Kings are going to draft Alex Karaban. Look, I like Alex Karaban. He's not a first-round pick. Now, that is shocking to me. Kings also drafted Maxime last year. That's surprising to me. That's a surprising move to me. They're taking Alex Karaban right here, number 5. Yeah, I mean, this guy, he doesn't have the athleticism really to play like a high-level role in the NBA. I think that's pretty crazy if you ask me personally. Yeah. A lot of people on Twitter, though, like in the NBA sphere, are saying that the Sixers got a steal of the draft. Phylon says he talked with the Sixers at the Combine in Chicago. Feels like he's going to fit in well with VJ and Maxey. I guess he's speaking to the media right now. But we will have more coverage out tomorrow. We'll You know, we'll do more videos and look at his game a little more and hear what he has to say to the media. But like I said, I'm not mad at the player at all. I think he's a good player. Kind of feels like the Philadelphia Eagles, how, you know, a really good player falls way beyond their range right into your lap, which is nice. But yeah, I still think there's some good players available. And if I'm the Sixers, I would consider trying to trade up into the second to get a player. Kings did get a good player in Darius Acuff, though. I'll give them credit for that. The Nets passed on Acuff, which I think was a huge mistake. But yeah, I don't think Grimes is going to be re-signed. I think Kelly Oubre could be back. They need rebounding, though. That is crazy that New York has the first pick of the second round, too. So we have one more pick to go. Man, if the Knicks end up with Isaiah Evans, I'm going to be pissed, man. I'm going to be pissed off if he ends up with New York. How about OKC and the Spurs? Both had earlier picks, and OKC traded up even further. Yeah, OKC, I think, is one of the winners of the draft for sure. I think he's definitely one of the winners of the draft. So Dallas pick is in here. Let's see who they take to wrap it up. So there will not be any more trades. Not a ton of trades, but yeah, I think OKC definitely was probably one of the winners of the first round. Great pick by Golden State to get Yaxel. Acuff, good pick. I think Charlotte did pretty well too. Steinbach and Anderson. I think Memphis did very well. They got 5 second-round picks to move back, and then they ended up getting Kareem Lopez. And they got Cam Boozer. Boozer and Lopez, that's a great draft. And they picked up 5 second-round picks. Yeah, OKC. Chicago did pretty well. They got Caleb Wilson and Dalen Swain. Phoenix is trading up with the Dallas Mavericks, and the final pick of the first round is going to be a guy that some of us wanted, some of us didn't. It's going to be Koa Peat. Koa Peat is the final pick of the first round. Koa Peat out of Arizona will be heading to the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns have traded up into number 30, and that will round out the first round of the draft, meaning that Isaiah Evans will be the best remaining prospect on the board, And tomorrow night, the team that has the first pick of the second round is the New York Knicks. So let's all hope that Isaiah Evans does not end up in New York. But other than that, man, we've been going for almost 4 hours. It has been an amazing draft stream. A lot of surprises, a lot of big moves. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. And once again, the 76ers end up with Lebron Phylon Jr. Definitely not a guy anybody expected to be there at number 22. Very good value pick for Mike Gansey in his first selection as Sixers president. Obviously, some arguments to be made about the rebound need and the size and all that. They still have other chances to address that, but just looking at the player they got, pretty solid pick. So that's where I'm at. And thank you all for being a part of this. Like I said, if the Sixers do not get a pick tomorrow night, then we probably will not be streaming day 2. But we will have another video out tomorrow recapping more. We'll get to hear from Phylon. We'll get to hear from Sixers president and a bunch of other stuff. We'll see if their draft is done, and we will analyze it a little bit more. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Make sure you follow us on all socials at Philly Take with RB on all platforms. That way you can check out all of our additional content. And this one's brought to you by Kalshi. Thank you to them for partnering on the show. And thank you to everybody for just being great in the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. A lot of fun. Good stuff going back and forth. And we will continue to break it down for the rest of the offseason. Free agency coming up. Sixers need to continue getting better. Drop your grade for this pick in the chat or in the comment section if you're listening back. And that being said, man, first round of the draft is in the books. Sixers get 6'4" guard Lebron Phylon Jr. at number 22. Thoughts, comments, concerns, questions? Drop them in the chat. Shout out to the Mod Squad. Shout out to the channel members. And shout out to everybody for being a part of this show. That's all I got, man. It's been a good one tonight, man. We'll hear more about this. We'll see what the Sixers' plans are. First round in the books, and if this is it, as of now, it's the Sixers' only draft pick. Who won the night? Who got the biggest steal? Was it the Sixers? A lot of people are saying they got the steal of the draft. Let me know your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, and enjoy tomorrow night as well. Catch you all in the next one, man. RB in the community, we're out. Philly Take with RB. Draft Watch Party 2026 in the books. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.